Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Smudcast number 97. We've got a double feature for you today. Just like before, only a little less crazy, a little less boisterous, and a little less glib, because Glib's not here.
So, I'm sure about that.
He's not here yet. Let's just say that. We're never sure with Glib. Sometimes he pops in, sometimes he's drunk, but never the same. It's always one or the other. So, thanks for tuning in. I got Fairy Joker and Shineying with me today. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Oh, boy. What do we got? We've got the craziest title I've ever seen on a YouTube video. The Witchfinder General. I'm not sure who that is. Reviews The Rise of the Skywalker. The Skywalker. An abominable pamphlet, together with real Puritan beliefs from the Massachusetts Bay Colony in Neve, England. So, how exciting. The first video is just pretty much a fun one. The second one, we go back into the world of Lindsay Ellis and her ramblings about women and, well, mostly just women and media. So, that'll be fun. You guys all set to go? You're all watered down or watered up and ready to not go to the bathroom?
Already.
Okay.
Well enough.
All right, let's do it.
Necromancy, that black and unlawful science, is the conjuration of diverse spirits into the bodies of the dead. Those practitioners of that craft consider themselves to be the masters of the dark and unnatural forces that they employ. But truly, I tell you, all their knowledge serves no...
Okay, I can't understand his accent one bit. What the hell is
I
this?
think he's playing on a fake Irish accent.
That is really hard to read.
I think it's supposed to be New England / Irish.
It's not New England.
purpose, but evil. And it is he, the father of all lies, who feigns himself to be commanded and restrained, and when the time of reckoning comes, shall be laughed to make buns of his injunctions. I am the Witchfinder General of the colony on Massachusetts Bay. Today I shall be preaching against a filthy pamphlet being passed around in the plantations and victual houses of these colonies. 'Tis called Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker. The very first line of this pamphlet makes a mockery of God's law and encourages the reader to make covenant with the creators of the pit. The line reads, "The dead spake." This is false. The age of miracles ended with the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. Consider this, I pray. Today there are no spirits nor fairies seen in these colonies, nor in England, nor any place where true believers dwell. And those spectres seen in the ignorant age of poverty, which are still like to be seen in Europe where Roman tyranny holds sway, were and are nothing but wraiths, demons in the guise of human spirits, sent by the devil to deceive mankind with false miracles. The better to induce them into the profession of false religions, such as popery, Jewry, and the Mohammedan heathenry of the dusky monk. The devil achieves such deception by taking on a pleasant shape or the likeness of a saint, and he so does in the Rise of Skywalker. Here Satan takes an angelic form, as he is wont to do, to prove his power to a witch. Do not be fooled by her youth and comeliness. She is a witch, an enemy of Christ, and shall receive her just reward in this life and the next. First, by death by hanging, though fire is used commonly in
Well, that's
and
actually
then,
probably what's
by
going to
yours
happen to
ahead,
Ray.
in which she shall burn eternally. None of any sex, age, or rank ought to be accepted from this just and godly punishment. No, not in children, for they are capable of enough reason to practice the black arts. And albeit there are witches of both sexes, women are more commonly witches than men.
Is it
This
too early
it,
to blow my
while
brains
in his
out?
credulous nature.
I can barely understand what he's saying. What are these quotes? A Guide to Grand Fury Men? Book 2.
I'm kind of stunned speechless.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought that you guys would find this funny. You're welcome.
Oh, no.
Well, it's kind of just like it's the professing of false religions. It's like, initially I thought, well, maybe it's just another review of Rise of Skywalker that's positive. Nope, it's an actual witchfinder.
Okay, because I can barely understand what he's saying, and I get the joke, but it's just I can't hear him.
He strings his sentences along in such a way that he doesn't let any joke he's telling kind of land. He just kind of rapidly moves from one point to the next, kind of like a sermon, which I guess is kind of what he's doing, but at the same time, it makes it kind of hard to enjoy what he's saying.
Yeah. Here's Lenny the Shark. Is this man spitting facts? Can someone confirm? I'm not sure exactly what he's even saying. The idea is that it's a bunch of, I don't know, it's witchcraft or dark magic or something, and he's saying it's an abomination and all these other things.
We bob on and then slow-nolled him. It's basically like more witches are oftentimes the devil will appear in a beguiling state, and so he appears to this witch in an angelic form so that he may appear more comely, but he is still the devil and she is still a witch, and so she shall burn in hell.
Yeah, it sounds
probably a good example.
It's like he's partially Jamaican or something. I don't know the accent. It's kind of
He's
it's
putting
like-
on it's like it's not what was it
Old-timey
typically what you
English.
think of. No, it's not what you typically think of Irish accents, but it's kind of it is like it's got very Irish inflections in there. Kind of like it's not the stereotypical Irish accent. It's one of them.
Could be like New York, like also like Salem witch trial accent ish.
I don't know, and I don't really care. I get that he's doing it to be funny, but there isn't even any substance, and there's no reason to find it funny other than he's being really stupid.
I think there is substance. We just can't hear it. He's referencing.
I'm understanding what he's saying. It's just there's nothing to. He's just
This
saying,
is
"Oh, well,
deliberately
raise the witch,"
nonsense.
or whatever. Yeah, but the problem is, it doesn't matter if it's deliberately nonsense. It's still nonsense.
Like he's setting up jokes and then running that right into his next joke. He's not, letting it breathe, as it were.
But it's not even jokes. He's just that the joke is
Thing.
raise a witch, and I'm saying this in a really weird accent.
Which makes them more apt to be misled and deceived. By that they are commonly impatient and being wronged, more malicious, that they are superstitious, and that they are tongue-ruined, and less able to avoid
the
what they
reason
know.
why other parodies work is because they're actually parodying something. This isn't.
Well, this is certainly a parody. We're just not sure what the hell he's trying to do. It's just this combination of weird colonization of America. Is it America? Is it the West Indies? I don't know. What is he colonizing here?
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think
why you guys are having so much issue understanding what he's saying. 'Cause I understand him fine.
All right.
And therefore more likely to be
Honestly.
teachers of witchcraft. Just like Eve in the garden could not resist temptation, the weak and frail sex is more likely to be the slaves of the devil.
They fly now! They fly now!
Thou fall, witches have always flown, by way of their spirits, o'er the land, or o'er vast distances of ocean. They might also take on the form of a small beast or fowl, and gain access to dwellings and to meeting houses through narrow passages. In this passage, two soldiers go to the witch for aid, and implore her to use her powers against their enemies on the battlefield.
You're the best fighter we have. We need you.
Ne'er go to a witch for help, no matter how dire the predicament.
This would be funnier if it actually connected to the film more accurately. Well, funnier. Not really funny, but funnier.
Here's a Joe Craze. Do you hear that? It's a Kingdom Hearts quote. Oh, thanks, Joe. What is this, 4 for nothing? You're going on a roll here. Holy jeez. Me,
Yeah.
I'm already half Zehenort? Zigbar? Yes, those are... What? What the hell's going on? Okay, fine. They're names. I'll give him the allowance of a writer to make up any weird-sounding name. Yes, okay. Thank you, Kingdom Hearts. That's fantastic.
Yeah. At least it's not like Inuyasha.
Well, Inuyasha,
Inuyasha is some.
they've got Japanese connotations with mysticism, so I can sort of get around them. But X's and Z, like all these other weird. Yeah, no, it's not a good way to start.
Can we
a
just
word.
move to the next video?
We're getting there. Don't worry. John Lemley, why are we watching this? Just to suffer? Well, some of us are suffering.
Apparently,
One of us, at least.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, we know.
why? There's nothing here that's actually funny.
This is a spiritual defilement and order. For as the scriptures say, they go on and are defiled by them. The author of this deplorable pamphlet argues that there is a light side and a dark side of magic. 'Tis not so. The distinction of witches into good and bad are only according to the base superstitions of the folk of the old country.
Grand Fury, man. This is crazy. Is there such a book called The Grand Furyman?
I don't care.
I actually do. I want to know if this is a thing.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'll go Google search it.
Thank you, Shiny.
Oh, being ignorant, still cling to residual popery and idolatry, witches are all not only because of all the injury they do, but because they are witches. The scripture.
That's great. They are evil because they are witches, not because of the adultery.
Make no such distinction, and it has been shown through experience that all magic, whether 'tis astrology, necromancy, witchcraft, or sorcery, stems principally and ultimately from Satan. Let us learn to follow the Lord and hate all astrologers, necromancers, witches, wizards, enchanters, and all those who follow the black arts. For these reasons and more, The Rise of Skywalker is a vile and deplorable pamphlet, and serves but one purpose: to entice godly folk from the path of the Lord and into the thorny embrace of the devil. Therefore, it is my official recommendation that the author of this abominable work, this J.J. Abrams, be apprehended by the militia and delivered forthwith to the magistrates assembled in the court in the shire in which he dwells. And if the judgment of the court says fit, he shall be put to instant death. The magics
I'm behind that.
witches are
Behind that too.
but know this: the power of the devil is not compared to the power of God. No man should presume himself to be free of the serpent's craft. E'en so, go boldly against the devil. Be like the valiant captain, with no fear of the combat, whether 'tis the clap of pistol shot, or the cut of the sword, or the thunder of cannon. Truly I tell thee, the only remedy against these machinations is earnest prayer to God. And as always, thou art a wretched sinner, utterly unworthy of God's love. A fountain of pollution is deep within thy nature, and thou livest as a winter tree, unprofitable, fit only to be hewn down and burned.
I love how you
Say,
struggled to
boy,
burn
like
it there
a
for a
Yeah,
second.
it wasn't burning.
Is-
To show mercy on thy corrupted soul.
And it's still struggling to burn.
Should have dried it out first.
How hard is it to burn paper?
Well, that was.
We used to use it like in the Scouts. We used paper to start fires. Like you used it as kindling. How hard is it to burn it?
So
Well, that was interesting.
that was Atun-Shei Films. That was released this year in April. This is a guy over 100K subs. That was a 45,000 view video. So he's obviously
It's
doing
complete
something right.
nonsense.
I'm just not sure what.
Well, it's short enough that you just kind of sit back, watch it, and then go on with your day.
Yes, let's find something equally more horrendous to watch, which is coming up. So
I'm still trying to figure out what the point was.
he just wanted to be joking about
Funny.
the movie, how bad it was. It was a work of the devil, I guess. I don't know.
Deal. Alrighty.
So
Well,
he-
now we get into the real fun stuff. We get into Lindsay Ellis's next.
Oh God.
I never thought I would be happy to just go and watch something else, but I'm probably going to regret it as soon as the video starts.
Oh yes, you will. Here's Tyler Preston before we get started. Sorry guys, my uncle escaped the home again. Was that your uncle? That makes a lot more sense, Tyler. Jeez, what's going on here? Don't know with all you guys sending your uncle making YouTube videos for us to watch. All right. Well, that's enough justification.
Dang.
Here we go. The Problem of Lady Robots, Feminist Theory, Part 1, The Whole Plate, Episode 5. How many subtitles are? This is just as bad as the first video.
She actually makes arguments.
Boy, oh
though.
boy. So this is the one that everyone's been looking forward to, I'm sure. Time to talk about some feminist theory on YouTube. That always goes over.
You know what she reminds me of? I don't know if you guys have ever seen. There was this CW show. Was it called Supernatural? There was this demon on there called Meg.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh crap! This is part 5 of 9
Are you kidding?
Well, we're just going
about
to
about.
not
This is the
watch
feminist.
Oh dear. So basically, it's basically the whole plate. A film studies through the lens of Transformers.
Oh,
Michael Bay versus auteur theory. Why is it so hard to remember what happens in the Transformers movies? Genre, the problem with lady robots. The male gaze versus men.
oh.
Framing Megan Fox, feminist theory. Robots, queer theory, and Transformers. And then Marxism and Transformers.
Oh boy, that sounds like a lot of juicy topics that I don't think we ever want to go near. I think this is one is enough. Oh, isn't she friends with like Anita Sarkeesian or something? Isn't that her shtick? Female stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I heard of
Yeah,
that, but I'm not sure.
She's also I think she's friends with probably a bunch of the other circle jerk Just Right. What is it? The guy who did the the editing of Suicide Squad. I think.
So just
Also
right,
friends with
Patrick Willems.
Pellegrino and H Bomber guy.
Yeah, those guys. Okay.
I think she might even be dating H Bomber guy or something.
That's a lot of ego in one room.
Oh boy. Well, anyone who's I don't know what Just Right is if he's defending cuties or there's all these weirdos on Twitter right now defending cuties. It's all the usual suspects. You're like, oh come on.
Is it Patrick? Is Patrick doing it? Is Patrick doing it?
I don't know him, but I think he might have blocked me because I don't know, but I haven't looked for him.
I'll look right now and see if Patrick Willems has remarked on cuties.
Yeah, it's definitely Movie Bob. It's definitely, I think it was what's his name, Jack Saint. He was saying how the video actually is attacking that sort of behavior while at the same time showing it. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just like, jeez, guys. Hot topic.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have actually watched the film and disagree, and our very own Southpaw seems to be one of them, along with Evan.
Patrick Willems.
I think Southpaw even responded to
He's
comments.
following Lindsay Ellis. Great. He hasn't commented on cuties.
Maybe they're smart enough to stay 50 miles away from that.
That's
damn shit show.
That's a good take. Yeah. Apparently, wasn't the CEO of Netflix accused of having all this child porn in his computer or something?
Oh, I think that was a fake.
There was something
article.
about there's something about the people who are making the actual film, about the amount of auditions that they had, that they're currently being investigated for a possible pedophilia.
Okay.
By the FBI.
So it was just a rumor or something.
Oh, interesting. Just Right barely put out another movie. Limitless, its strange effect on the world and America's obsession with work.
What? America's obsession with work? What? Wait. Is he a socialist? Is that the thing I'm getting from this work?
Chat.
I think so.
I think he was
weird.
converted over in college. His films school.
Okay, I mean, obsession with work, the thing that everyone needs to do to survive. Yeah, why would we be obsessed with that? I have no idea. Okay, anyway, let's get Super Chat going, and then we'll keep on going with Miss Lindsay Ellis. Don't swear to God,
right.
Swear to ketchup. Why does that sound familiar to me?
I don't know.
Who knows? Who cares? Get on with this video. Get it.
Get on with this video. Thanks, Shiny. Let's just keep going. Oh, one more from Lenny the Shark. Cuties is the equivalent of making an anti-animal cruelty movie that uses real animal cruelty. That's an interesting way of putting it. Seeming I'm not going to watch this thing.
And actively doesn't, or at least from what I've heard from like people like Southpaw, they say that it's actively not doing that, even if that was the intention. That's not what it's doing.
So I'm guessing the interpretation of people defending this film is that, oh, it's actually against sexualization of children by having the sexualization. Because I could argue you can make a film about the sexualization of children, and it's a horror film, or it's a film that is meant to be seen as a depressing one from high
Or
to
you
low.
can make a film about pedophiles and such without actually, sexualizing children.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's one of the worst things about the movie is that they actually took kids that were okay and then put them through theoretical trauma in order to create this film.
Well, I don't know about trauma, but maybe the people who were watching it got trauma. I don't know.
Well, they're teaching kids, these young children, to be sexual. And they're acting in these scenes. They have the knowledge of what the movie is about, even if they haven't, put it all together. Well, they haven't watched the film themselves. They know what they're doing. That's what we want to protect. That's what the film is saying to protect the kids with. What the film did to these kids.
I would have to actually see some reviews of sane people and hear what they have to say.
Just talk to Southpaw because he's seen it.
Yeah, no. I just want to get general. I want to get actual critic, because you hear a big difference always with movies between critics and viewers. So I want to see if this is a universal thing or if it's just like us, like the normal people who look at this thing and go, "Oh yeah, this is bad." Because when that trailer dropped, that trailer was like ratioed to 0. There was nothing. It was absolutely hated.
Oh, let's check review sites. IMDb. Cuties. What does IMDb say about Cuties?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it has a rating of 2.2.
It's got an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, Metacritic has got a 69. Oh my god, Metacritic has a 69.
Rotten Tomatoes has an 87. That's insane.
And the viewers score?
Wow. Average audience rating on is 1.3 for some. I don't remember what it is. I don't see what it is, but it says like. Wait. Oh. There's like 2 1-star reviews and then a 5-star review.
Oh boy.
Like. Okay, so. Hi, voice.
Good day, voice.
Okay.
Good day.
Good day, everyone. Hello.
How are you chippering on, old chap?
Hey, voice.
Hey, I'm good.
So
What
here's
have I missed?
here's the ratio. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's 47,000 upvotes by 1.9 million downvotes.
Sorry, what are we
Wow.
That
Cuties.
That was the trailer.
Let's look at the critic reviews.
Let me get the stream up.
Okay, I'm just doing a search right now.
So one of the positive reviews, giving it a 4-star out of 5, says there's a saying in criticism: depiction does not equal endorsement. Art should be able to address taboo things without necessarily advocating for them. But on some levels, the surface can be misread. If you don't dig into the film, it's not obvious at the first glance. In the wake of conservative outrage over the early poster debut of the writer-director, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, Cuties, this is a sentiment that bears repeating. The film actively critiques the very early pearl clutchers I'm mad about, the sexualization of children. But the The writer-director received numerous death threats. Netflix, the movie's distributor, has issued an apology.
Thank goodness.
No, I think
No.
to the writer-director, not to the people actually watching the film.
Oh, really?
Oh god, there's more to this. I don't think I want to read all this shit because it would take too long.
Well, I agree with the concept that art can tackle issues that are taboo, but
it's
in
the way
creating they went so far as to create the thing they said was bad. That's what everyone is upset about. Even if this thing is condemning the sexualization of young children, it actively went and did that. It actually, if you can edit Cuties to be no different than what it's criticizing, then they messed up. That's not a good idea. That's not good.
There's a line in, I think it's Farscape, which actively criticizes the sexualization of young kids more than the actual film does. And that's quite saying something because it's only like an offhand line. I think one of the actors that's an alien is confused about like the sexualization of children, and they make some offhanded comment towards it, and then it's never really brought up again. That does more.
All right. Well, this is obviously a different topic.
Themselves enough.
Yeah. I mean, this is a whole other ballgame we could be talking about here. I don't know if we want to get into that. We're talking about a ridiculously difference in
Transformers and
scores.
feminist robots. Yeah.
Like 89% to 3% is a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think the only reason why there's certain critics which are defending the film is because it has a certain political slant, and I think the right director is also a woman of color. So that's the whole reason why they're supporting the film.
I would have to actually listen to these reviews and watch the film itself, but I really don't care. It just does not appeal to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it just looks like it's a train wreck from...
I don't even want to touch it.
Yeah, no, you don't even want to go near this thing. It's like, this is... It's going to make you feel... The trailer itself was uncomfortable. Okay?
Yeah, I never watched the trailer. I've only heard people talk about it, and I think that's really enough is to discuss the theoreticalness of it, what potentially is in the film. You don't need to actually see it.
Shared on Twitter a clip where the child is actively stabbing someone. He referred to her as being a fucking psycho.
Fun. Okay, there's definitely things I don't want to see in my life. That would be one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying to LitDev, there's so much outrage about this film right now. It's a really good opportunity for channel growth, but would it really be worth it?
Yeah, indeed.
Is that a payment you're willing to?
Well, all you do is poke fun at the people who love it. That'd be the easiest thing, the safest thing.
Yeah, but then it's harder to actually do that because you're missing a lot of knowledge about the film itself. So you need the knowledge of the film to actively poke a lot more holes at these people who are trying to defend the film. But the problem is I don't want to watch the film.
Well, it's not hard to watch a film, whether it's...
Cutie seems like it's going to be a film which is hard to watch.
Yes, but it's not impossible. I'm saying you could go through it and go, okay, this is a pile of crap, or this I hated it because of X, Y, Z.
I don't want to go through it.
If you really wanted to.
I don't want...
Yeah. It's a bit controversial. It's a bit... Actually, no, I'd say it's not very controversial. I think it's mostly crap from the general populace. It's not a good reason to review it, but if it's hot, people want to do it. I'm like, hey, YouTubers, go for it. I don't care.
I really hate that Star Wars girl put on Twitter like a really suggestive clip of Cuties because it's... I didn't want to see any of that.
I'm gonna go see Tenet tomorrow, and I think that's probably a better use of my time and money.
Look, go shoot yourself in the foot several times. That's going to be a better use of your money, your time, your everything.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the super chats going, and we'll start this video off. John Lemley, cuties is a distraction being put out to distract from California legislators trying to normalize behavior like in the movie in real life. That's an interesting way of putting it. Is this a common theme in America, or at least California, where they have, what is the term? Was it children's stars, or what is it? Glamorizing children as adults? With like John Benet Ramsey and all that stuff?
I have all those beauty pageant crap going on, but...
There's that show Dance Moms.
Oh, really?
Apparently that's pretty bad, but I've heard from some people that this Cuties is even worse than that.
I know child stars have been around since the 20s, so it's not uncommon, but we're talking about Hollywood. We're not talking about a bunch of pageants and this or that, or dance troupes. Usually this occurs well after puberty, well after high school. You go into some sort of ballet, or I guess in America, what would you do if you're a young lady and you're athletically inclined? You go to kinesthesiology, I guess, to college. All sorts of other fields of expertise, but don't know about actual dance troupes. Sort of outside of my my world. Anyway, Joe Crazy. Now that Lindsay Ellis is being covered, how about a movie night for the Channel Awesome movie Kick-Assia?
There's too many things on the list already.
What is Kick-Assia? Does anyone know?
Kick-Assia is the film. Kick-Assia is the film that Doug Walker filmed. Doug Walker and the Channel Awesome guys filmed.
That doesn't sound good. I don't think I'll like that.
That sounds like pain.
That sounds like a horrible waste of time.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Sounds like a pain of the brain.
Yeah. Well, at least I got No Country for Old Men to look forward to before Wednesday and Tenet, so I'm excited for those. We should probably get started on this, the problem of lady robots.
One more super chat and we'll do so. Okay. Lenny the Shark. Yeah, to add to Lenny is saying, California is trying to pass a law that punishes gay child kitty diddlers less than straight kitty what? Okay, so they're punishing straight people who hurt children more than gay people who hurt children. Really? Huh.
I'm not even sure America's that stupid to try and push that law in California.
Well, California is trying to actively bring back, the affirmative action. So they just.
I take it back. No, they are that stupid to try and do that. No, okay, I stand corrected.
Alrighty.
Oh boy.
Dang.
Okay.
Our country sucks.
Your country's fun. It's entertaining to say the least. We're just like,
look.
It's like
everyone's country sucks. The whole world sucks. Get used to it. You're not special.
Oh, I think America's special. I think it's very
you guys have since you guys had Brexit a while back and you still aren't recovering.
And that's a whole other topic I don't even want to go near. Okay, let's just keep going.
Well, yeah, this is going to be an interesting topic because I feel like, most of you kind of have like at least a passing knowledge of how like feminist film theory works.
Nope.
And then there's the segment of the audience that thinks it's like the matriarchal tentacle of the globalist new world order to destroy all men. So that's going to be an interesting tightrope to walk.
What?
Glad I chose Transformers to do it.
She's such a Meg. It's just Meg screaming at me.
Let's make that the thumbnail. This looks This would be perfect as the thumbnail.
Just put a picture of what that actress who plays Meg on Supernatural.
Oh dear.
Oh. No, like what Lindsay Ellis is doing right now, where she's holding two thumbs up and grinning like the Joker.
Ah, okay. Here we go.
But to go back to what she said, I mean, it's not like they're the Illuminati, but they kind of are wanting to, social engineer society to be what they want it to be. It's not a secret. What they actively want is to change society.
They're also a giant circle jerk.
Yeah, it's another religion of the mind. So you have global warming, you've got feminism, or fourth wave feminism. What is it now? I have no clue. So I have done not a feminist analysis, but a feminist lens when talking about stories when I was learning it, but it wasn't like you start using it everywhere. That's stupid. You use it for particular stories where it can be used properly. You wouldn't start doing it in Transformers. That's kind of silly.
Especially since Transformers is just fucking nonsense films. It's just, oh look, action, explosions, bloody blah.
Yeah, what's the role of the mother in the Transformers trilogy or whatever? It's like, no, you don't need to do that. You're not going to learn anything. Anyway, here's Genghis Khan.
Maybe we'll learn what the problem of the lady robot is. Whatever the lady, is it going to be the robot from? Was it Dark? Was the second one where we went to college? The Dark Side of the Moon, where he was going crazy.
Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah,
there's like that really weird alien, which is a transformer that's a human lady who's hot, and she's actually a transformer. And she makes Thingy thinks that he's cheating on her or something.
Look, by Chinese description, it's a very interesting set of films.
Dark Side of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen, all these other ones, they just merge together.
Okay, here's Genghis Khan. California is all of America's stupid amplified. Well, there's some smart people in there. You got lots of innovation coming out of there as well.
It's a high concentration of stupid.
Yeah, but
you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
That's the planet. I mean, we're talking about humanity, right? So it's just stupid, rare. I point any direction, I get stupid. Maybe not amplified.
I don't know. I live in a very quiet town, so we don't have any of that here, thankfully.
Oh yeah, you're just generally intelligent, just across the board.
Well, no, we just don't have insane stupid.
Oh, insanity. That's another story. Insanity is...
Well, they interact with each other. They create that bubble. And then they think that their craziness is normal. And then it just becomes... It kind of saturates and amplifies itself.
It's just constant and endless. Because when you get a bubble, it's like someone has a more extreme idea, and then that pushes to a more extreme idea, and then that jumps over to a more extreme idea. And it just bounces off the walls of the bubble, just constantly circulating and stewing.
Well, I'm glad that what's his name, Musk is in California and doing crazy stuff. Drilling holes.
He's also a bit of a snake oil salesman.
Yeah, no, he's doing all this crazy stuff, like drilling holes in the ground and launching freaking rockets in space. You're like, oh my god, this guy's nuts. I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad he's blowing all that money away. But it's
no. But for every SpaceX, there's a hyper. What do you call it? The hypertube or
hyperloop.
The whatever he was pushing a while back. He comes out with an insane idea. It gets a bunch of publicity. Turns out the idea is bollocks, and it goes nowhere. And then he quietly sweeps under the rug to then bring out the next really insane idea, while constantly trying to sail on his successes with SpaceX.
Well,
and
I await the takeover of the Starlink network over the planet. It'll be great.
Was that where he claimed he was going to give really cheap network for phones and stuff over the whole planet?
Yes. So I would love to see that
happen. Happen.
We will see.
It's another one of the insane things he pulled out of his ass.
That is more believable than Hypertube.
Yeah.
What the brain thing? I can't remember what that was about. And
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, it's another crazy thing I don't want to think about either. So, lots of crazy stuff comes out of California.
Or the stupid Theranos scam. Where
look, it's not innovation, it's the fact that he comes up with bullshit which can easily be proved false, but yet he goes out there and hypes it up despite having nothing. And that's the problem. He's a snake oil salesman.
Yep. I know. He made a flamethrower that one day.
He was at
even if you want to have a debate about electric cars, I will sit and talk to you about lithium-ion batteries and why they're not efficient and why they're really stupid to put in cars.
What's wrong with lithium?
It's a very inefficient way of storing energy while also being very flammable, and you need a lot of it, and it weighs a lot more, which makes the car even more.
I was thinking of lipo batteries. Never mind.
Lithium-ion batteries, they weigh a lot, and in order to power a car, you need a lot of them, and they're also very inefficient. So at the end of the day, it's a very inefficient piece of shit.
I'm just imagining like voice in the radio with all these like AC power adapters in a car. He's like trying to get it to go.
Look, I'm 120. Modern technology confuses me.
All right, Edax, what do you got here for? I'm sick of people attacking California. I'm not attacking it. I think I'm pretty much like in awe of how crazy it is there, and all these weird and wacky ideas that they will change the world. I mean, it's how it goes. Out of all of Elon Musk's idea, Tesla took off as unprofitable as a company it was. Everyone believes in it so much that the stock had to be split.
It's because
5
he's
times.
a fucking religion. That's why it's getting so much.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It is crazy. Like the typical investor sees Musk as like all his stocks aside from Tesla, I think, are private. So you can't actually buy his companies. It's all by private investors or the government. So it's like I can't own anything from him except for I think Tesla. That's about it. Which I don't want to own because it's a bad investment. So anyway, Joe Crazy. All right. After this, we're going to keep going. After Lenny the Shark, we're going to keep going. Funny fact about those Channel Awesome movies, really, they get an hour longer as they came out. Oh. The third and final film, To Boldly Flee, is about 3 hours. Oh, my God. Doesn't sound like fun to me. I think they're good with their reviews. That's about all we like them for. And everything else is just not worth it.
I would contest that.
There's some good stuff there?
No, that the reviews are good.
Oh, they're all bad. Everything they do is bad. All right.
Like Doug Walker loves The Last Jedi.
Really? That's not what I got
Yep.
from his review, but okay. Anyway.
Well, him and his brother on well, yeah. Maybe he's
I've got a video
shifted
to
little
cover
bit.
only 2 minutes in. Come on.
Lenny the Shark. Everyone Florida man, but no one California man. Well, Florida is a bit, you got some great weather, you got some great produce, great shopping, lots of old people, really great, nice beaches, and really great
the whole thing
storms.
whole thing with Florida, man, was it's because made because of all the articles. So all the articles, because there's really insane things which happen in Florida, from my understanding. So all the articles are just endless saying, Florida man found doing this, Florida man off doing that, Florida man goes in a bin.
Well,
Florida or Germany.
Florida. I think there's a big difference between the two. But every time I went down to Florida, great time, wonderful weather, wonderful food, wonderful people.
Wonderful tornadoes.
I didn't get any, but I know they're there.
I thought they had hurricanes or something.
Yeah, well, hurricanes and
They are
tornadoes are different, but I see what you mean.
Look, it's really fast wind. What do you want from me?
That's one way of putting it, yeah. High pressure and low pressure systems coming together is really fast wind. There you go. Alrighty, let's keep going.
So ignoring the part where the internet has lost its mind over the last...
no intro is better than a stock-made intro like that, just saying.
I don't even think that's a stock-made intro. That's something someone made in, After Effects in 5 seconds.
Yeah, but it would have came from, a pre-rendered template.
Usually the pre-rendered templates are even better than that. I've seen them.
I think she just went on Fiverr and spent the $1 or $2. So can you make me an intro for 2 seconds?
Hey, yeah, Jeff, you have some very terrible portfolio, but yet you do really cheap stuff. Make this intro. And then he gets he uses the text tool, maybe gives it a bevel, and then uses maps and masks to rip it apart, and then slowly use 3D layers to use it to do the whole. And he's got a really terrible stock, stock image behind it of just rock and shit, which you can find on the internet for just as a PNG.
Yeah. We're not in We're not in 2006 now. You can stop with these terrible intros. I want to feel like I'm watching a channel, not a TV show.
What's her subscription? Like, surely she'd be able to afford this.
Oh, she's in the
1
millions.
million subs.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I was not expecting that.
She makes lots of money off of Patreon as well.
So couldn't she pay for like an actual 3D artist?
Oh yeah.
Like you, maybe, Shiny.
No, I'm not. I'm not working for her. No.
Make her better intro,
look.
Shiny. You can do it. Use Times New Roman instead of Tahoma.
No, Comic Sans.
Oh yeah, Comic Sans.
How about I just run off with her money? How about that? I'll take the money and not give her.
Also
anything.
good.
All right.
Years, feminist theory has been an integral part of critical studies for decades.
No, it hasn't.
And while for the sake of simplicity, I would like to be able to separate feminist academia from the
There's no such thing.
wide world of feminist hot takes on the internet, the truth is I can't, because feminist academia is kind of influenced by the wide world of feminist hot takes on the
Okay, first off, it doesn't exist. And if it was influenced by hot takes on the internet, like the Mary Sue, that is not a very stable form of academia. That is
Everything is influenced by every hot take on the internet.
Yeah, but not a realm of academia. There's no academicians sitting in their ivory towers going, I wonder what the MarySue.com is saying about women in 2020. Like, no one's doing that. Okay? If it's
Nobody cares.
Yeah, if it's a social studies class,
more than it doesn't go. It's more one way. They come from academia or fail out of it, and then they go work at the Mary Sue or other such publications, and then create that drivel.
yes, there are actual women or men studying females or what have you sociologically in school. That's true, but they do stats. They do whole kinds of batteries of tests and interviews. They don't read articles on pop culture and media. That's not really effective unless it's part of their study, and that would be a very small sample size. They wouldn't be like, okay, we took 5 or 6 sites over the years. They talked about this topic and that topic, and they would do it with numbers, meaning they'd count all the tags or the keywords that these were parsed under, and that would be that. They wouldn't actually read the article and say, well, this person said this about Mary Jane in Spider-Man, and this is similar to my theory of what happened in 1963's movie of this or that. It's like, no. They have other things to do than look at media all day.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
You can put that quote to anything, is amazing.
versa, which leads to a lot of confusion, and I'm not really going to try to untangle that right now, but I see a lot of buzzwords being thrown around as sort of boogeyman with little regard to what the terms actually mean. Terms like feminism, postmodernism, Marxism, Freudian psychoanalysis, the Jews, and so on.
Wait, what?
The important thing to remember about any kind of theory is that, well, yes.
Excuse me?
What did the Jews get in there? What did they do to women?
I haven't heard anyone talking about Jews.
I don't either. Wolf will make like Jew references, but that's because Wolf is the trigger dude. Like he likes triggering.
He likes upsetting people.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the most persecuted group of people in history. I mean, you got to throw them in there with the women.
Well, not necessarily in history. I mean, the Jews, if you want to go really far back in history, don't have a very good record of treating people well, but that's in the past, I suppose.
Well, I think that, going back to the main part of what she was talking about, how the general audience doesn't understand those terms. And I don't feel like that's really a bad thing. Unless you're going to be studying, what those things are and how they impact, media. You don't need those things to consume media.
You certainly don't need postmodernism. That's not very helpful.
I don't think anyone needs postmodernism.
Postmodernism is stupid.
Yes, sir. All right.
As some kind of an agenda. It's really more about putting some element of culture within a framework, in this case a feminist theoretical framework.
Sure,
so the first thing to remember
sure.
about feminist theory is that it doesn't really share any unifying single point of view.
Really?
Even the Mulvian view that like male gaze is a thing, there's even disagreement on that. A part of the
I'm gonna
ever-evolving
call
practice
bullshit
of
on that.
feminist theory-
Okay, so we have a framework, but there's no established framework of what feminism is. Really? Then what the hell are you talking about? It's like
that's
psychology.
kind of a contradiction.
You have psychology, you have different disciplines, but it's all about therapy. It's all about getting people better or learning about people to make them better, to see what makes them tick. You use a certain lens. You can point to them. Structuralism or fundamentalism back in the day. Now you can look at...
well, it's root to point, Smud.
Sorry?
It's root to point.
Yeah, no. Well,
You said you could point at them, but it's root to point.
well, I don't care.
If you don't have a rigid framework, and if you can't define what is and what is not, applicable and what is appropriate, then there is no correct or incorrect. There's no, it's problematic to use the one.
Yeah, this is similar to the argument of analysis of stories. It's like, well, everything's subjective. Well, your criteria is different than my criteria. And we say, well, what is your criteria? And we get a list of things. Like, say, I don't believe in Mary Sue's, or Ray is not a Mary Sue. And you're like, well, what's your criteria? And they only have one or two things. It's like, well, that's fine, but here's a criteria for all kinds of other stories that have Mary Sue's in them, and they're bigger. And they're the same as yours, just more criteria. And they're disregarding that because they didn't think that way. It's like, well, that's not my fault. That's you having a small perspective on reality. So we get this a lot. Everyone redefines their terms. They argue the semantics, and they go off on a tangent of what they think is a Mary Sue or this or that. Happens all the time. So if you don't know what feminism is, it's really not that hard. And that's why we have waves of feminism, because it was changing over the years. So you just learn what that was in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and what it is now, and unfortunately what it has become. And I'm sure there's some great rational feminists out there that use it properly for social theory or literary theory. So they are there. And for her to say that is, to me, it means she didn't even go to school. She didn't even take a course, like not a major. She didn't study it, but just a course, like an elective, and just, I'm going to study social sciences. It's like, all right, there's feminism. There's a chapter dedicated to feminism. Let's read that. And you have all these theories, all these people over the years, all these people who created the terms and why. This is what you do in academia. You write books on your topic and you reference them. And then someone goes, hey, there's the founding member of feminism. It's like right there. I don't know these people. I didn't study it. But there has to be some person over the years that wrote a book on it. And someone followed that book and kept writing more books. It's very simple.
Is the exchange of ideas, usually through essays or books, or now, video essays. I will make this a legitimate academic form alone if I have to. An essayist will present an idea, for instance, in this case. In Michael Bay movies, women are rarely depicted as being in positions of power, and when they are in positions of power, they are depicted as either being duplicitous, incompetent, or both. The writer would then use examples from the media in question and from other academics to help support their thesis. And that's how you apply feminist theory to a work or a body of work.
No, that's not feminist theory. You're just saying there's women in movies who are XYZ. You're not saying anything about the female.
Yeah, that's just basic observation. That's not feminist theory.
Yeah, you would say feminist theory would be about the role of females in the movie. What are they trying to do? Are they a mother? Are they a lover? Is there something about their femininity that is relevant to the times, to the setting? Is it part of the plot, etc., etc.? You wouldn't just say, look, there's women here and they're doing X. It's like, so there's men there doing X as well. It's not revelational. There's nothing to care about.
We're talking about the positive representation of women, blah, blah, blah.
It doesn't have to be positive. It could be anything, but it has to be representative of the function of women.
There's no positive representation of women.
Okay. Oh my God. Foucault. There we go. Oh my goodness. Postmodern thought. Before she even zooms her heads out, I know exactly what's on the right. Here we go.
It's Addie.
Oh my God. Deconstruction. Oh God. What the hell is hyper reality? Post-colonialism? You're really going to...
As opposed to that non-hyper reality. that dull reality that we...
Non-dualism. Just say monoism. What are you talking about, non-dualism? Is that Descartesian dualism? Is that just dualism by itself?
What is lookism?
Standpoint theory? Lacan. Oh, this is a... Okay, she's obviously doing a joke, I hope.
What is lookism?
Locism?
I'm going to look at what lookism is. Okay, let's look at these terms.
Is that
Okay.
John Locke?
No, it's
Okay,
okay. Two
First
O's.
one. Hyperrealism.
What is hyperrealism, Shiny? Tell us.
Okay, hyperrealism, an artistic style of characterized by highly realistic graphic representations.
So, representational art.
I don't know. Well, it's extreme reality or something.
Extreme.
Is the critical academic study of cultural legacy of colonialism and imperialism, focusing on the human consequences of control, exploitation of colonies and their land. For more specifics, it is a critical theory analysis of history, culture, and literature, and discourse of imperial powers, specifically the British Empire.
Imperial powers under all that civilization terms. Okay.
Non-dualism.
Non-dualism is going to be, yeah.
Non-dualism. The belief that dualism or dichotomy are illusionary phenomena, that such thing is in the mind and the body that may remain distinct while not actually being separate.
So is that a humanitarian approach to dualism, or is that just saying, hey, Descartes, you're an idiot? Because after the 16th century, we were like, yeah, Descartes got it right. There's the mind and the body.
Foucault. Oh, I can't read that.
Foucault, yeah, don't even go near Foucault, yeah. Postmodern person. Standpoint theory, what's that about?
Standpoint theory. What's standpoint theory? Let's tell. Oh, so what is it? Wikipedia? Standpoint theory is a theory. Yeah, well, I wouldn't think standpoint theory was a theory, but please tell away. In some academic disciplines, which is used for analyzing intersubject discourses, the body of work proposes that authority is rooted in individuals' knowledge and the power of such authority exerts.
So, egotistical, subjective? What does that mean?
Also, what's happening with her hand right now?
Being chopped off.
It's just off by the screen.
Yeah,
but it also looks like really blocky because of the blur on top of that, the green screen.
All right, I think that was I don't know what lookism is. I don't think I need to figure that out. That's not a difficult...
Well, lookism. Let's also Google that.
Oh God. Lookism.
Lookism is a discrimination treatment of people who are considered physically unattractive, mainly in the workplace, but it's also a practice in dating and other social settings.
Oh, you're joking.
I call BS.
You're joking me. There's a term for people we're not attracted to?
Yes!
It's called
you
ugly.
You are a lookist.
Oh my God.
People know there's a reason why we're attracted to good looks, right? Good looks are generally like...
Yes, there are objective principles behind why we look at people that are attractive and not. Yes, obviously.
Well, if you know someone's fat, it's generally like, you know, your mind tells you like subconsciously that person's unhealthy or they're not fit to protect you or to raise children or blah blah blah. And yes, and someone who is more fit, more muscular, more physically active is going to be a much better mate, for lack of the better term, than someone who is not physical at all, for instance. So there is reasons why human beings are attracted to better looking human beings.
Don't fall for Shiny's propaganda, you guys. Just because you're 400 pounds doesn't mean you're any less sexy.
It's kind of like the whole thing where people try to date outside their range. Like when I don't know, a girl is trying to date outside her range, it's like, oh well, this boy won't pay attention to me, or like a really fat guy is gonna like crying because he can't get a supermodel girlfriend.
What's a clone trooper blaster's range on dating?
A clone trooper blaster about 200 and something thousand meters or something. I don't know how far.
So,
a laser go pretty far.
If you're ugly at 2,000 meters, you have no chance in hell.
Well, if you're in, I don't know, 2,000 meters of my blaster, you're probably not very safe at all.
So
you heard that, ladies. Shiny's got a giant blaster.
At a certain range.
And then you got lookism for it, baby.
Oh. If you guys actually want to study this, it's called the law of averages, or something referred to as clinophilia, which is pretty much people liking, or even animals liking each other, based on the average number of normal phenotypes in a generation. So you look at all the potential mates out there, your brain goes, this looks familiar, this looks familiar, this looks familiar, and you pick the best traits out of all those, either subconsciously or consciously. And voila, there's plenty of objective studies out there that have done this over the years. They've done this for a long time, long periods of studies, that found that women are more attractive than men. So
those are hate facts.
Yep, they need a study for that?
There's multiple studies, yes. But that was told to me, I think in 2000 or 2001, and it was this big thing in UFT, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's sort of, yeah, we kind of guessed that, but sure, okay. There's numbers to prove it this time. And they did it with like face morphing technology. At the time, that was really cool. So you had like a face that was like sort of feminine, sort of masculine. They put all the feminine traits together and made this like superwoman face.
No, that's mother hate facts. How dare you?
Oh yeah? Facts are bad.
Hate facts. Halifax.
All right, let's get some super chats going. Lenny the Shark, yeah, I'm a lookist. Some are just straight up ugly. Well, I guess that's what lookism is. I mean, that's the definition, so I guess we're all lookists.
Did you guys go over hyperreality?
Yeah.
Yes. I've already forgotten what it is and I don't care.
Okay.
It's very realistic depictions of people in media, and you're like, what does that mean? Is it art?
Oh, is that really what it is? Because I always thought it was. I thought hyperreality was like Disneyland.
I don't. I have to actually read up on that, but apparently it's just like artistic depictions of people that are super realistic.
It's like hyper.
You don't have to do it again, Shiny. It's okay.
Hyper-real. Oh, sorry. I search hyper-realism. Oh, it's hyper-reality.
It's the same idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I like hyper-reality is in postmodernism is the ability to consciously distinguish between reality from simulation of reality, especially in technology advances in postmodern societies. Hyperreality is seen as a condition which what is real and what is fiction seamlessly blend together, so that there is no clear distinction between one and the other.
Okay, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. Come on.
So that's like Disneyland. It's kind of a meme. That's like a leftist meme. Like, oh, you're just so capitalistic, you can't see what's real anymore, dude.
How'd you know you're
Get
not
out of
really
the
in the
Matrix?
Matrix?
Yeah, exactly. And I go, I don't know. Maybe I'm a brain in a vat. I don't know.
It doesn't matter if you're in the Matrix or not. This is your life. This is your reality. So fucking what?
Yeah.
We
live in a society.
You can't live your life like, oh, what if this, what if that?
Maybe the air we breathe is actually drugged, so we're high all the time, and the drugs we take allow us to see reality for what it really is, and that's why.
Oh my god!
Yeah, don't tell that to the global warmists, or they'll be like,
tell me that's not true, because how can you prove it? Hyperrealism, man.
I don't. All of this is postmodernism, really. All this stuff, well, it's about 80% of it is postmodernism. So any of these derivative terms are just going to be a bunch of bullshit. So yeah, I would not put much faith into ever caring about these topics past this video, guys. I just wouldn't. Just don't do it. You're going to hurt yourself.
Don't you want to take down Western civilization from the inside?
Do you want to teach African children JavaScript?
That's what gets me off.
I want Elon Musk
That's what gets me off in the morning.
I want Elon Musk to make Starlink, and I want him to give the opportunity to third world countries, people to get free internet from the sky. So
2 gigabytes streaming, 12 teraflops. What? 48 teraflops. What?
Get those people in some computers from like the 80s with their 300 baud modems. That'll be great.
We've miniaturized 7 nanometer vacuum tube.
You see, we're not talking about the real problems today. We need 27 billion chocolate hobnobs.
That sounds like a worthy cause. But I just love that all these things together, what do they add up to? Well, if you knew all of these things, then what are you equipped to do at this point?
Well, you might have graduated with a very useless degree, and you could make a YouTube channel like this one. So she is making money. So
there you go.
Oh.
So it's the entire program.
Or
the entire program. Like I think what I said about earlier in I think it was Morning Nonsense this morning. It's like the scam is you go to college to overpay to learn that capitalism is bad, right? So you get in debt going to school to learn about how bad Western civilization is from people that are doing all of the things that are bad in Western civilization.
Well, we all know Americans are very good at getting to debt.
Why isn't it just America? This applies to all countries with social justice.
So, quick note: Lindsay Ellis makes between $10,000 and $69,000 on Patreon every month.
A month.
So it's good. That's everybody. If you want Patreon money, just be a girl and a nerd and
a feminist.
And a feminist. You're right. There you go. And then whatever you're doing is a mission and is critical to something.
The amount that Anisia Sarkeesian grifted is insane.
She was really good at it. She was a professional. We all learned from her.
All right, let's keep going. That's so Skaven. Term is land whale. Don't be rude. And we all know Shining Dream Girl is Jabby the Hutt.
I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
Wait, what?
I didn't quite grasp that sentence, but thank you.
I think they're trying to say my dream girl is Jabba the Hutt.
Okay, the Shiny's dream girl is Jabba the Hutt with a jetpack and a lightsaber. There you go.
Oh, now you're talking.
I don't know. That would they be? Would Jabba the Hutt be able to use a jetpack? Another buffet. He's not going to be able to leave his palace.
Well, obviously, you'd have a jetpack-sized Jabba the Hutt thing, so it'd be like, yeah, of course they would have it. Yeah, it'd be gigantic, but yeah, it'd still work.
I think at that point, it's a spaceship.
Yeah, it's pretty much a spaceship. She comes with a spaceship.
Right? That's what it is. The dowry is the ship that it takes to move her around the city. Come, dear, night on the town, get in your land speeder.
Lenny the Shark. How can lookism not exist when Movie Bob does?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point.
What would you study? Just Movie Bob all day? Is that what you would do? Just look at this creature.
Oh God, no one wants to study Movie Bob.
How does he move through space and time?
Life.
By being a roly-poly.
Here's Tyler Preston. God, get on with it. Okay, fine, we'll get on with it.
Laura Mulvey's 1975 essay, Visual Pleasure and Narrative Cinema, is basically ground zero for most feminist media studies, so...
Okay, so here's an example of a feminist who's written a book which is ground zero for feminism structure. Thank you, Lindsay Ellis. This is the structure you're referring to that doesn't exist. Bravo.
We'll start there. Mulveyan view involves a theoretical combination of semiotics, Althusian Marxism, and Lacanian psychoanalysis.
Okay, let's slow down.
What is going on here?
What is Shiny? To the Wikipedia with you, sir. Semiotics.
Okay, Wiki.
Give me the actual definition of semiotics.
We're so ignorant. We don't even know who Althazar is.
Oh my God, you don't even know what semiotics is. Semiotics is like the study of sign processes, which is actually a
No, I know what that is.
Yeah, no, we know it, but I just want
semiotics is dope. Actually, I like semiotics. Okay. Semiotics is like the idea that you can do some form of symbolic transmission, and the meaning can be conveyed in something that isn't necessarily conscious. So like if I use certain colors or shapes or something that you associate or free associate in some way, I can encode a message by just using that. You know what I mean? It's subconscious transmission and interpretation.
When you look at the Apple symbol, it's like luxury, wealth, greed, piece of shit.
It's a lot of psychology. It's a lot of Carl Jung. It's religious symbolism, that sort of thing. So
I love that. But what I find amazing is the Althusarian Marxism thing, because it's like when you go and you search Louis Althusar on Wikipedia, it goes, Althusar's life was marked by periods of intense mental illness. That's a great start. It's a great start.
Yeah, don't go into French structuralism too much, or else you'll never leave. It's kind of like
French structuralism. That sounds like an oxymoron.
So now you wanted the what was it, the thingy Marxists or something?
Well, yeah, that's what Glib was talking about.
Althusarian.
It comes up with Louis Arthursian.
Yeah.
He was a French Marxist and philosopher born in Algeria and studied at something in Paris where
the E. coli, normal super.
E. coli. What the hell?
Okay,
was a scientist?
Okay, Wikipedia, you piece of shit. I'm going to go somewhere else. Literariness.com or something. Here we are. What does this say? Arthurian bloody Marxist is. The page will fucking load. You see, I'm now regretting doing cloth simulation in the background.
I regret everything.
Yeah, I regret a lot of decisions, and I don't know if this is one of them. Combined Marxism with the scientifically oriented methods of structuralism in his essays, idealism, blah, 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 and analyzed how dormant systems and enforced their control by subtly molding their subject through ideology. Ideology has been earlier defined by Engels such as false consciousness to refer to the ways which hegemony is neutralized and justified and sustained within society, and then to the invisible ways in which the cultural form seeks to ensure the permanent dominance of the ruling class.
Bravo, Shiny.
This is like the meme where all the Marxists and leftists, they have to have like 1 billion lines of text to get an idea across. You ever seen that? Any of those? Because it's like, okay, how do you describe your point of view? Well, it's kind of a pseudo blah 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 Marxist post-structuralist. Glib, what do you think? Well, I think everybody should be treated equally, and be free to do what they want to do and make money. Like I can sum it up in layman's terms. There's no Marxist layman's terms. There's only propaganda. It's like the problem is that you go into something like this and you think, oh, okay, it's going to be some sort of intellectual diatribe. It's going to be about improving Marxism and critique and all these things, and it's just them trying to make excuses for Stalin and Mao and like, well, what's the alternative? What if we had this?
To be fair, you have to have a very big brain to understand Marxism.
You have to have a very low IQ to understand Marxism.
So the third one, I don't think you're going to understand if you start talking about it unless you take a few pages, but it's basically taking the symbolism aspect of Freud, like when he interprets dreams, and just focusing on that. Like that would be all he was doing. So it'd be all these weird understandings of what it would mean. Like when Freud would start talking about, oh, this is about your mother when you were 4 years old, like all these dumb ideas that you thought were crazy, and you had like sexual feelings for your mom, and it's like, no, Freud, you're nuts. He would take that and just keep going with it. That was his approach. So if you thought Freud was a joke, which most of us who studied psych back in the day, I did, laughed at Freud half the time. This guy just takes all the laughable parts and just throws in post-structuralism or postmodernism with his structuralist approach. And it's a joke. It's just absolute nonsense. So,
all right, so we continue.
Sounds like nonsense.
Let's just keep on going.
You still got to do Lacan.
Well, that's what I was talking about. He's a student, not a student of Freud, but he took Freud's ideas and played with structuralism, symbolism,
The Oedipus complex, a bunch of weird insanity. Yeah, you're right. You covered it. I think you covered it.
Yeah, no, it's the same idea, but Freud was mostly about sex. Lacan was about just everything.
You want to know the insanity, everybody? Here's one of them. Lacan redefined the phallus, which is not the penis, as the structural function of whatever X the child hypothesizes the paternal figure possesses, making him the focus of the maternal figure's desire. That is, the possession enabling the father to domesticate and control the mother's otherwise unpredictable desire. So,
it's fantastic.
You're competing with your father over the domestication of your mother. What?
The fuck?
Are you sure about that?
So you sound a little insane.
Subconsciously,
right.
I meant, though. Not consciously, just in your mind.
Subconsciously, you want to fuck your own mother.
Yeah, it's always subconsciously. It's always like Inception. Like, oh, I didn't come up with the idea. You did in your subconscious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can you prove that exists? Yeah, totally.
Sounds like they define circular logic, and they it's like defined themselves as right first, and then came up with a theory.
That is part of the postmodernist structure. So you can we're talking about material Marxism, where that does that automatically, but it's part of postmodernism anyway. So all this stuff means all the same crap. It's symbolic, it's interpretive, it's subconscious, it's pseudo-sexual. There's all these elements.
All these people had to do something with their really useless degrees in what I assume to be some literature or English or political studies.
Justify their own existence, because otherwise they're useless.
To justify their really stupid life choices in things which actually didn't bring them a career.
No, I was thinking justifying why they were born in the first place.
Well,
I wouldn't be that harsh on them.
We are talking about academics coming with the ideas in the first place, and then the rest of humanity looking at them and going, can this actually be useful? Like, how can we use this? And as the years went by, Freud became less and less useful. We developed a whole bunch of new therapies for people. We talked to people more. We got to know their feelings more. We asked them what they wanted. A very humanistic approach, or the Carl Rogers approach. So there's other techniques out there for kids that we don't have to sit them on a recliner and talk about their dreams anymore. We don't have to do that. Anyway, 3 more super chats and we'll keep on going. That's so Skaven. Thank you, sir. Mean Shiny's dream girl is Jabby Hut, who is Jabba's sis. Okay, that's... oh, boy.
Either way, Shiny's in a hut.
Look, first she needs to lose about 12 billion pounds, and then we'll talk.
That's a lot of pounds, man.
It's a lot of
Have you
burritos.
seen Jabby the Hutt?
Better get on Jenny Craig.
Yeah, watch her exercise routine while you're out there. Alex Halo.
Look, just give Jabby the Hutt Beat Saber. I'm sure she'll lose all that weight in no time.
It's true. That's very true, actually.
Alex Halo. Be glad Nostalgia Critic is alive. Okay, why should I be happy he's alive? Otherwise, Lindsay would have the world she wants and Angry Joe as president. What? Whoa.
No, Nostalgia Critic would want to be Secretary of State for someone like Hillary Clinton or some craziness.
Reference to their Christmas video. They have a Christmas video?
So yeah, that's a reference to You're a Dirty Rotten. It's titled Dirty Rotten Bastard. It's a what if instead of It's a Wonderful Life where everybody's life is worse because of you, it's what if you never exist and everyone's life is better because you're not in it. Brad Jones is the world's most famous porn star. Linkar owns DC and Marvel. Angry Joe is the president of the United States, and Lindsay Ellis is a famous filmmaker.
I could get behind Angry Joe being the president of the United States. That's something I could get behind.
Well, in the joke, he nukes Canada, so no more smud.
At that point, I think that would be a courtesy. Oh, okay.
President Angry Joe.
Yeah, oh boy.
He's fucking furious.
Good luck, America. Okay. Alex Halo. Sounds like he took incest anime way too seriously. Oh, that's before anime existed? Okay, I guess. It's possible. Anime was a subconscious creation of the Japanese after the bombing of Hiroshima. And Lit Dev, how you doing, buddy? I just want to grill. Yeah.
You have a lot of heat down there. You can grill. You got a open stove.
That's his MO every day of the week. It's like steaks and
Well,
grills.
I'm making some steaks today since I got some good stuff from clearance. It was Angus, but I managed to get it for like $10 and $12, where it was originally like 18 and 14.
Now, when you
18
said
well, 16.
Nice.
when you said Clarence, is that a store?
Angus style, Angus cut beef.
Oh no, I heard Angus. I also heard Clarence.
Clearance.
Clearance. Oh, they were selling it.
I got it on the clearance aisle.
I thought. I don't know.
In the back of his truck.
Oh, we're only 2 minutes through this video. Come on.
Okay, we got 2 more super chats. Come on, I gotta keep going with these beautiful gentlemen who are saying wonderful things to me. Shiny, so mean. Jabby, dad died to Joel Skyrunner. Oh, come on. That's too on the nose. Come on, I got it the first time. I was trying to make jokes, but now I can't because it's already too obvious. And here is Mariner. Hey, Mariner, how you doing, buddy? Executive Enrique. Ooh. I can't remember his Angry Joe's last name, but probably something along those lines. All right. We can continue with this beautiful, what is going to be a Venn diagram of weirdness.
I hope that clears up any confusion. Mulvey saw men as subjects identifying with agents who drive the film's narrative forward, and women as objects for masculine desire and fetishistic gazing.
Yeah!
We'll come back to Mulvey, but
I also want to point out that women also look at men, so what? I mean, look at most Marvel films. They have obligatory shirtless scenes for women eye candy.
What's wrong with this, though? What's wrong with showing off your sexuality?
I see nothing wrong with having a female spy.
In the context here, talking specifically about creating eye candy for the opposite sex, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not about be allowed to show yourself. It's the films putting it there purposely for, I don't know, men looking at attractive women or women looking at attractive men, for instance. And there's nothing wrong with either.
Look at my titties, okay? Look, this is why I have a boob window sweater on, you guys. Look at my titties. That's what they're there for you to look at. They are succulent
maybe
and
you should
delicious.
work out, and then maybe you wouldn't have breasts.
That's too much work.
Yum.
Okay.
Oh my.
Oh my.
When
you least and when you least expect, I will have sex with you.
That's what Lindsay's afraid of.
Well, I would be afraid of that as well. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I want Sulu having sex with me. That'd be pretty horrific.
You don't know what the man can do. It might be really good.
He could stab you with a foil.
True, very true.
Ooh.
Oh my!
I love how like she's bringing down the. She's basically, you know, we're all losing our chub. You know, we're all having this big circle jerk session, and she's just really raining on our parade here. Got to just say, oh, you know what? Your attractive nature, that's a problem because men like that.
You know what's really strange is like the way feminists or like to talk about the way men look at women and the way men talk about women. They try to make it like you're all like, oh, dude, bros, oh, look at those babes, ugh. You know,
hell yeah.
Like I've never actually had a conversation with friends about women or girls, but yet I have overheard billions of conversations of girls pretty much doing much worse things than I've ever heard a man talk about a woman, for instance.
I've done both. I love talking about titties.
Gary, he gained like 50 pounds. I think I might have to dump him.
There's plenty of women.
I don't see any problem I don't see any problem with men and other men talking about women and women talking about men. That seems to be one of the major focuses of all animal activity. What is it with social justice people and feminist theory and Marxist theory and all these people and their delusional rejection of reality and science? I thought that they were all about science. This is ascientific. Everybody knows that the reason why...
It's only when it supports their worldview.
Yeah, but their worldview is horse diddly do.
Horse crap, yeah.
No, diddly
Gay
do.
Flanders.
And that's why everyone should subscribe to Aiden Paladin.
Subscribe to Shiny.
Which one's Aiden Paladin again?
Aiden Paladin is the one that makes like basically actual academic essays where she cites things and talks at 2 times the speed that she normally does.
All right, here's Lenny the Shark. Canada? You mean the autonomous Northern Territory of the USA?
True, very true.
You know,
just like how
just wait until there's oil discovered in Canada, then you'll start hearing American music just blasting over the hills.
Well, that's called Alberta, Shiny.
We're gonna take over England, and we're gonna rename London to Old London. We're gonna create a new London.
There's no oil here. Why would you invade?
Be better. You don't need a reason. It's because you were wearing a short skirt, Shiny.
Why would you need to change London to Old London if you're just going to make a new London?
Because we have to not only lift ourselves up, we have to bring you guys down at the same time.
Old is better.
But yeah, the original is often much better than the shitty remake. I think Star Trek is proof in that.
York and New York.
Yeah. York, we have fucking Vikings. What does New York have?
The Mets.
We also have the Vikings. We usually have, whenever the Vikings play the Giants, we have the Vikings.
Just not this year because for whatever reason.
You have people Vikings walking the streets. Oh, you didn't know.
Yes, they're called they're called Bostonians. Yeah, when the Jays play, we have a Toronto team. We don't actually play in our Sky Dome. We have to go across the border to, was it Rochester or Buffalo, and use their dome.
But
you gotta come over to America to use our backyard.
Yeah.
Voice, great. Have you ever been to York?
Yes.
You've seen like those really weird cosplayers, right? That actually dress up as like Vikings and roam the streets.
No, I don't go to the shady parts of York like you, Shiny.
What, you never been to Jorvik?
I don't know where that is.
It's like the Viking Museum. Jorvik is the ancient Viking name for York.
No, what, you never been to Schmagen?
No,
never been to Poslu or
it's like a Viking museum, and like they like to hang around there.
I had a girlfriend in York. I only went there to get laid.
That's a good reason. Okay, John Lemley, thank you, sir. Canada is actually northern Cuba.
Cuba.
If you ever want to go to vacation where it's freezing, I guess that's is gigantic, like 7,000 times larger than Cuba. Maybe.
Yeah.
Here's Lenny the Shark. The USA would just annex all of Canada into North Dakota. I don't think North Dakota could handle all of Canada.
No. They would invade Canada and then turn it into New Canada.
New Canada.
And then leave. They don't want. Oh my God! Why did we take this? This is horrible. Let's leave. When they were divvying up the borders between Canada and America, Canada went, "Oh, can we get some of this?" Like, no. We'll get all the good parts. You get the rest. Look at this massive landmass you get. Oh yeah, I guess it's fair. They realize that half of that is tundra. So
I always love like really just random historical lines which are drawn.
Yeah, I know.
I remember there was I think that the Pope drew a massive line saying everything down here is owned by Spain, that there, and it's just a really arbitrary line just down the middle of a map. It's like you get that. There we go. And that's where the Falkland Islands. Like, oh look, Spain, you get Falkland Islands. It's like no,
they didn't.
So what happened was, so the French and the English found the two opposites of the island. They settled there. Then the Spanish came and said the Pope said that this is their side of the line. And then the French said, "Oh yeah, sure, just give us some money," and they paid them off. and then the Spanish kicked the English off the island, even though the English didn't want that. And then the England came back later and said, "Oh, it's ours. Fuck off."
Okay, great.
I thought it was the Argentinians.
No, because then because of the American Revolution, the British then left the island again, but they left a plaque saying, "Oh, this is still Her Majesty, his or Her Majesty's country," whoever it was at the time. And then the Argentinians came in, and then they took the Falklands, and then it said, no, it's ours." And then 100 years later, they decided to come back after it had been recolonized.
Okay.
1982, we won it back. No help from anyone else.
Fuck you.
Nobody wanted to help because they're like, what are we going to get out of it?
Exactly. Of course, it wasn't a war based on principles. It was a war over penguins, which are an important ingredient in making Guinness. You boil them up, the white stuff floats to the top. It's delicious.
Look, those penguins were British penguins. We don't care.
Alrighty. Well, I'm glad you guys have gave us a little history lesson there. I appreciate that. But let's
say we kick a fucking ass.
One day we'll come back for all of you and our precious lands.
Just all of a sudden, America's like, why did we hear boss music?
Why do we hear boss music? Oh wait, Larry turned on our radio. Why do we hear stupid ass horns in the background and trilling fife?
I'm pretty
drum
sure
corps?
legally that the Declaration of Independence, England has a copy, and the Queen can reverse it anytime.
Yeah, but the Queen isn't in charge of your country.
No,
I mean,
your country barely. Anyway, we don't need to get into the horrible
I just want to
aspect
imagine
of being a British
Queen
citizen.
just like fuck you and just.
But she has to sign off on everything basically, and if she
It's
says
a constitutional
no to
monarchy.
yeah,
You guys you don't have a monarchy. You have a monarchy, and
Yep.
all of you are just the little children.
Yep. Well, it's better than having a country ran by a little child.
Ooh.
Mummy, can I have Argentina, please? Ask Auntie Thatcher. Ask Auntie Thatcher if we can go and have some Argentina.
Margaret Thatcher just gets a gun and it's like, well, time to get it.
I'm pretty sure the way
What would Harry Neve do?
I think Parliament goes to the Queen, she signs off on it, or if she disagrees, she vetoes it, and it goes back to Parliament, and they have to
No. The Queen has to. So they come up with the House of Commons, and then it goes to the House of Lords. The House of Lords says yay or nay. If they say nay, it has to go back to the House of Commons. Then they have to make changes. They go back to the House of Lords. If the House of Lords say yes, it then gets taken to the Queen. The Queen has to sign off on it, no matter what. All the power she has isn't. It's more. Yeah,
baloney.
She technically owns all of England. She technically has all the power, but she has to do whatever the government says.
She's a figurehead.
Yeah,
figurehead.
Because originally the monarchy was a puppet for the government.
Yeah, and now it's the other way around.
Now you're all a puppet for Pakistan.
Well, after our own revolution of sorts, it was not kind of isn't, but never mind. The government basically said, "Yeah, King, fuck you. We're taking over, and now you have to do what we say." There was a small war, and the government came out on top and said, "Fuck you, King."
Well, that's a beautiful story about the matriarchy, which is the same topic we happen to be talking about with Lindsay Ellis.
Oh, the matriarchy.
We gotta talk about feminism.
Keep it on track. Let's go.
Consider Mulvey less a holy text, so much as a jumping-off point. Mulvey's essay is also where the term male gaze comes from, and we'll get back to that later. In essence, the whole of feminist theory as it pertains to media studies is not to destroy all men, though that is certainly a priority, but
kill all men.
To question the role of gender in our society, and in particular, the portrayal of women in media. So the rest of this...
And
what are you? What are you, the commissar of women? You control all women and what they can portray themselves as in movies for money? What are you, an asshole?
And don't pretend the reverse doesn't exist as well.
Or
they don't even care.
She says the reverse doesn't exist because men invented male.
It's not about.
I would like to.
It's not about
by posting a little link to a Coke commercial to you.
But it's not about that. They want to remove the ability for men to ask women to do something sexy for their movie, for their art. They want to give women some sort of authority that goes beyond an equal deal or some sort of contract or anything like that that allows somebody to have a vision of some sort of movie or story or whatever. The portrayal of people in fiction has to be controlled and patrolled, and I think that's ridiculous.
Smud, I present to you an example of the reverse that apparently doesn't exist.
This is from 2013?
Yes.
Yeah, but man invented it, so it doesn't count.
They don't say that it doesn't exist at all. They just say it doesn't count because men invented male gaze.
This is just a gay kid.
Yeah.
Well, you're gay, Glib.
Yep.
This is very
Take one to know one.
true.
All you Americans and your gays.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a video.
Yeah.
I'm every woman.
I've got
It's
a
all
question.
in me.
What do you call it if lesbians look at women and objectify women?
They're also men.
Is that
Symbolic male gaze. That's
Is it then-
internalized misogyny.
Is it then woman gaze?
I have a friend who is a lesbian. She differentiates the two between like male gazy versus female gazy, but I don't know what the difference would be. I'd have to ask her.
I mean, it's technically the same because it's still quotation marks objectifying women. I don't even think the term object. I don't even think the term objectification really applies because. But anyway,
I like
it's
how
all doing the exact same thing.
chat watches this video. They go, that's such, taking advantage of men and using them as objects. They go, I hate Diet Coke. That's terrible. Who wants to drink Diet Coke?
Well, yeah, they threw a can at him, or it rolled down the hill. So he opens it, explodes on him because obviously it's a can of Coke. So therefore he has to take his shirt off. The women are like, woohoo!
The theme because he's being covered in white stuff.
Yeah, explosion of Coke all over the man's shirt. Oh, the humanity.
So hot,
Gaze
you
into
guys.
the manly nipples of hypocrisy.
All right, well, yeah, that's enough male gaze or women gaze, whatever you want to call this gaze.
Well done.
Let's look at Megan Fox now.
Yeah.
She's cute.
No, go back to
26-part
the
series will
Coke
be
guy.
exploring
Oh.
the many nuances of postmodernist, cultural, Marxist, feminist, intersectional film theory.
That was a nice bike.
It is a nice bike.
What did she say?
I don't think that Megan Fox is that.
Postmodern, intersectional, feminist, robotic, Malthusian symposium on TEDx.
Yeah, Glib, the voice. I agree. It's also it's a nice bike, and the thing she's sitting on isn't bad either.
Hey, Ray.
Kidding. I'm kidding. Only 23 of them will be that.
What?
Quick, define postmodernism.
Oh, God.
Yeah, me neither. I see a lot of antipathy towards
Oh
the
my
term
God!
postmodern.
We're gonna ascribe ideas and give credence to ideas to something that we can't even clearly define for the layman. Again, proving my point that Marxism only works on academics, and for the layman, it doesn't work unless that person can't follow along. You know what I mean? If you talk long enough, people will forget what they started out with, and then they go, "Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, of course." If you just keep talking and coming up with new terms, and just if you can't convince them, then barrage them with bullshit.
Look, I think we can explain what postmodern is. A piece of shit.
Why can't you just talk normal?
It's intellectual nihilism.
Well, that is true, actually. Like the majority of what she was saying adds up to nothing matters. Like literally, what was I think it was Lacan that said the alternative to Stalinism is anti-humanism, theoretical anti-humanism. It's so stupid. You have to hate civilization and want to destroy it and dislike everything about whatever you consider to be the status quo to like these things. You have to have a lot of anger in your heart.
And here's
What's
Lit
this
Devil
stuff?
being part of the conversation without being able to come to the conversation. That's fine. LitDevil, you're in the chat. That's cool. Let's look at blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I don't know why she even said all those words and then mentioned postmodernism. It just segues into nonsense. I don't know why. Hopefully she'll define it, but
modernism, which is pretty odd to me because postmodernism doesn't really stand for anything except for a really broad line of thinking that questions universal truths. A lot of feminists.
Why are you talking to us when you said quick describe postmodernism and you said I don't know either? It's like, why don't you open with that first? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. Lady, help me help you.
It's generally questioning, or a broad whatever, of general questioning of universal truths. And I'm wondering, if they're universal truths, why are you questioning them? Just accept them and move on.
Did she define it? Did she define postmodernism, or did I miss that?
Obviously, Knights were the biggest postmodernists, according to Remarkable Republican.
Okay, here's Todd Howard. Thank you, Todd. Hey, Smud. Fun fact, did you know Lindsay Ellis has a mugshot? No, I didn't. Also, allegedly, her former employees at Channel Awesome threw an orgy. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Channel Awesome is a bit weird, in case you didn't know
it's called a circle jerk.
It's anything's possible with those weirdos. They are strange folk. How they make film or video, whatever you want to call it, is not... it's not very professional, let's just say.
It's not what I would call film.
I mean, you could say they get paid to do it, and that's technically the definition of professionalism, but not in the sense of going to a school and learning how to make a film, or even amateur film, or what have you, small budget stuff. So, no, it's not very professional.
Sorry, I just read this tweet. You know this tweet from Sean? You guys know Sean and Jen, Sean Vids, that guy? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Sean Vids?
Yeah, Sean from Sean and Jen, that old YouTube channel. Anybody know the Sean YouTube channel, the social justice dude or whatever?
Oh, really?
The reviewer. He wrote a tweet, and I thought it was really funny because right now so many people are into VTubers, and this kind of plays into the male gaze thing and this kind of feminist way of thinking. Here's the tweet that Sean said. Western bigots drawn to Japanese VTuber fandoms because of, rather than in spite of, their lack of understanding of the language, functions similarly for them as women existing but not talking. So the fact that you find like anime girls cute and video games funny and the translations interesting and you watch them on YouTube, if you like any of these VTubers, you just like them because it's a woman that exists for you but doesn't talk.
Even though the VTubers actually talk.
Yeah, even and the fact that he's saying that you don't understand them, but that adds to the idea that you want a woman that doesn't talk back to you or something like that. And somebody that responded to him said their ideal woman is cute, has the exact same interests as them, but is also totally submissive and never makes them feel uncomfortable or has any agency. Plus weird Orientalist fetishism. That's why they only like fantasy anime girls and VTubers who are acting most of the time. It's just like, I feel like this side of the aisle and their weird post-Marxist stuff, it's all just ruining fun. Like anything that you like that you might find cute or some basic thing that pleases you in some way, they're like, oh, what's the Freudian reason for this? What's the underlying
the Freudian reason.
Negative thing that's happening?
You don't want to know the Freudian reason behind stuff. It doesn't make any sense. It's usually sexual and weird.
Did anybody study Freud? I think you probably did, Smart,
yeah.
Where you know that Anna Freud was like a virgin for 40 years of her life, Freud's daughter, and tried to treat Marilyn Monroe and didn't work. It didn't work at all.
Well, there was a character named Anna O. That was a code name for her name. That was his famous patient. I don't know about his daughter though. We didn't talk about the history of his family, mostly his theories. But
yeah, his family is fucked up.
Really,
I feel like this is the biggest waste of my time ever.
Don't worry, we're going back to the video, Shiny. It's okay.
No. This video is the biggest waste of my time.
Well, that's kind of a given, but we're getting there anyway. It's okay. It's going to get over soon.
There are plenty of things to do with your life. I really don't want to waste it here.
Like, look at women.
You get to look at women.
Get to look at women.
This theory does arise from postmodernist thought. But what do even postmodernism? Modernism arose as a philosophical movement in the late 19th and early 20th century as a reaction to the certainty of Enlightenment thinking, especially the idea that there were universal truths. From modernism, we saw the rise...
There's no such thing as a universal truth?
Well, what's a universal truth? That the sky is blue?
Simba.
Keep going.
Of art movements like Dada, absurdism, pop art, as well as the wide rejection of religious beliefs.
Is that like the cube?
Postmodernism is an umbrella term for an incredibly broad line of...
Wasn't like that armor? It's I remember in media that we had a whole fucking talk about it, and it's basically an artist was really upset with modern art, and they just got a lavatory or a what's the fuck we pee into it? I forgot what it's called now.
A urinal.
Urinal. They got a urinal. A urinal. Urinal, but they got a urinal, wrote armor on it, and submitted it, and actually got into. I think actually won a prize, and it was a whole commentary on how terrible modern art is.
Or like, this is not a pipe.
Yeah, that's France again. So don't worry. That's what you get. You get all the weird theories and ideas, logics from France. So
look, do you really want to get your political, philosophical, universal worldview from people that eat snails and slugs? I don't think so. Ignore France, embrace monkey.
I don't.
Well, would you want to also get it from a bunch of people who do nothing but praise their guns and eat fucking McDonald's all day?
Can you stop being jealous of America for 5 minutes, Shiny?
Canada's like the nice.
I understand
version.
that Europe has nothing going on, but
so you can give it, but you can't take it. Is that it, Glib?
Well,
we had a war over taking it from you guys,
and we won.
We won twice.
You can shit on other countries, but when
you burnt down the house, and we won twice, and now you're getting louder with Crowder.
You have problems when people start shitting on your country, but it's perfectly fine for you to come along and shit on others.
Anybody wants to complain about America, file a complaint with the British Department of Bad Management.
I'm just going to say, Glib, War of 1812. Shut up.
We still won.
Well, War of 1812, we won. Yeah. Yeah, we did.
I'm sorry.
We also won World War II single-handedly.
You didn't win 1812 because Canada's not yours.
Canada was always ours. Everything is America. It's just some little America. You have little England over there. That's little America. You have Africa. That's just black America.
Should we pull out like all of America's like really most hilarious fails?
Vietnam.
I'm sure like pictures of Vietnam are around somewhere.
Do you remember Pearl Harbor when America was taken completely by surprise 2 years into a global war because they're amateurs?
Half the fleet.
As soon as England does something relevant, I will be contrite.
We made you. I think.
No, that hasn't been relevant for 300 years.
So your country hasn't been relevant for 300 years.
No, we're relevant. You guys are irrelevant.
Remember how you guys used to have an empire? What happened to that?
Remember
what happened to anything that was interesting? What's the best English food? It's Indian curry.
Good fish and chips.
Remember
It's fish and chips.
We got the corn out of the river. We put it in the bread and we fry it up. It's real good.
Hey, Glib, do you remember when America had an empire? Oh wait, yeah. Never mind.
They didn't. Oh.
Yeah, thank you for defending us because most people call us imperialists. How does it always come to? It always comes down to Shiny being jealous of America and our 3,000 mile width or whatever compared to the backyard that isn't.
Well, you find a way to shit on England. I find a way to shit on America. You just can't take it, Glib. You can give.
If I cared about England,
You gonna finish that?
Ammunition, because there's, you know what it is? It's not that I don't have any other moves. It's that you're not worth one.
Oh.
Well, okay
the
then.
thing, you say War of Independence 1783. I say the War of 1812 because it's not the heats that count; it's the final.
It's not even 1783 though.
Sorry, 1775. I don't remember.
1776, which will commence again. You don't understand, okay?
We
won World War I. We won World War II. We won World War V. We will win the Cyber War in 2077, okay?
Well, I mean, if your country's still around by then.
The definition of postmodernism is England and America, kids that had nothing to do with any of the history arguing over the meme nature of it.
Stop covering this video and just have like British.
No, we should stop talking about England versus America because neither of us have anything to do with foreign policy at all, and it's just memes.
Anyway, she's going to get.
Everybody knows that the greatest country on this planet is China. No, I'm just kidding.
Lindsay is going to get this definition. It's just going to take her a few more sentences. I'm sure we'll get a nice, clear definition of what postmodernism actually is, and then we can talk about it.
You know what it is? Shiny's listening to an American accent through this video, and he's just trying to think. He's like, "This is all America's fault. America let this happen. Why are you letting your women talk about postmodernism?"
Is Lindsay Ellis American, right? Then it's your fault.
It is.
Control your fucking citizens.
You accept that you created postmodernism?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Well, the French, really.
It's part and parcel of living in a big city, right?
But you also accept that you created Anita Sarkeesian. You also accept that you created J.J. Abrams. You also accept that you created Ryan Johnson. You also accept that you created Will Wheaton.
Isn't Ryan Johnson Canadian?
Oh God.
Benioff and Weiss.
I thought this was all Britain. I thought this was all Britain. What happened to that? You're gonna have a big great American empire? Gonna have a big great British red, white, and blue world? Gonna praise the Queen and then the King and God and country?
I'm too busy watching the Great British Bake Off.
I will maintain to my dying day that like Benioff and Weiss are still worse writers than Ryan Johnson. Like, they are far worse. They don't even have writing credentials. They don't even know how to write scripts. Well, because they're American, we're talking about terrible American filmmakers, and I'm saying that Benioff are way worse than Ryan Johnson. We should probably get back to the video, or otherwise we'll just
We're talking about relevancy. What's America done recently?
All right, guys. I don't know, but I want to get through Lindsay Ellis.
Stop bringing it up. Bothering
You brought it up.
I didn't bring it up.
Let's get back to this video.
Okay, here's Todd Howard. If Channel Awesome had an orgy, who do you think got pegged the worst? Do we really have to answer that? Come on, that's. you could be the judge of that.
Let's go with Spoonie and move on.
Yeah, is a good answer. Good old Spoonie.
Spoonie was the best.
Noah Antweiler.
Okay. Here's another from Todd Howard.
Either Spoonie or Linkara. Joe ain't getting Spoon getting pranked.
Spooned? Joe's getting spooned? Is that? Oh God. Another Todd Howard. Just to add fuel to the fire, Todd. Thank you so much. At least Americans don't make the same 5 jokes regarding obesity and shootings. How's the butter knife doing there, Brit?
Damn!
Jesus.
Well, it's because there's no other jokes to make. They're just so hilarious.
Yeah, there's no other jokes to make. Exactly. You said it yourself.
Well, because you do have really big problems with obesity and all these other things.
I mean, if they're easy pot shots that everyone can make, accept that they're big problems you have.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger the problem, the easier the pot shot. It's just so easy.
Wow, you guys are fat. And you're like, okay, that's a great observation.
Okay, I think we've buried the hatchet, sir.
Let's keep going.
Lib's head.
I'll go into any depth right now. You can expect
Yeah,
the
but
full
we have guns,
deconstruction
remember?
of postmodernism and Transformers in my upcoming 12-part series, directly beneath the enemy scrotum, coming Christmas 2019.
Never happened.
Postmodernism is really an extension of modernism, especially as the idea of universalism came back in a big way in America in 1950s.
Universalism? Is it what is she talking about now? Universalism.
No idea.
the philosophical and theological concept that some ideas have universal application or applicability. Okay, that's simple enough.
I thought postmodernism didn't rely on data and provable facts.
She didn't clearly define it properly, and she's not using it as an example. So we're just sitting there going, what are you talking about? And then she showed us a transformer with Tenenbaum on, or whatever the hell those things were.
Big balls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was a Transformers thing, wasn't it?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's just get to this part.
With the rise of objectivism and writers like Ayn Rand.
Oh no, not Ayn Rand.
The 1950s saw a return to almost Victorian ideals of universal truths and strict societal roles, especially as it pertained to gender. So postmodernism was a reaction to that. Postmodernism questions more binarist modes of thinking favored by universalism, objectivism, and the ideas that there are universal truths that apply to everything equally always. It's that easy. Feminist theory derives from postmodernism in that early feminist theorists looked at societal ideas that were presented about the idea of gender roles and asked, but why? Why do we take for granted these ostensibly constructed absolute truths? Postmodernism rests on...
It might have something to do with survival, but the role of the sexes and gender roles. Why do men become the breadwinners in the 50s and the 60s as they were 100 years ago from then? All sorts of different reasons.
A rejection
Questioning
of
something is
objectivist
just as
thinking,
valuable
especially
as
in the
creating
humanities,
it, right?
and the idea that there are no universal truths. And I can kind of see where that would get frustrating for some people. So
These
really,
kinds
There
of
are
I think so.
Really? So men are not stronger than women on average?
these kind of laws and rules are applicable to a lot of African societies still today. Are you criticizing their culture and way of life?
Ooh.
There are simple, basic rules of biology, whether we like them or not. And that's just how it goes. Whether you're talking about human biology or mammalian, these are all common traits.
I'm studying biology at Gender Studies University. We'll all just get along and live in a post-scarcity communist environment. And nobody will own anything, not even your own body.
Oh, killing me now. I really don't want to cover this video.
Let's just let it play for a while, and we can just
with
keep
all
going.
this of Mulvey and feminist theory and postmodernism and rejection of objectivism and binarist modes of thinking, what I'm really, really trying to ask is why all the robots gotta be dudes?
What robots?
Transformers.
Women and Transformers.
Yeah, that's
the first
right.
thing that usually comes to mind is male gaziness in Megan Fox.
Why is it that all she sees and thinks about in Transformers is this sexy chick? It
Wait,
just
wait,
sounds like jealousy, bro.
Wait. Are any of the robots, do they procreate a certain way?
Well, okay.
No.
So-
no, they don't. They're made out of like
So
magical.
can I give some
electric
context?
energy.
I've seen. Okay. So I think that she's actually saying that Michaela is actually the best. She is actually the arguments that she makes in her later videos is that Michaela, Megan Fox's character, is actually the best written character, but there's cognitive dissonance between how she is written and how she is filmed. Is the argument she makes.
Okay.
It's weird.
I don't think there's much of a character arc with Michaela per se. I don't think that was the focus of the story. And it's mostly this
It
gentleman.
wasn't. She's just like
A secondary character.
She actually has. She's a secondary character, but she has more agency than the main character.
Okay.
I
she's
have
more
a question.
competent.
So a lot of these, so the Transformers is obviously an adaptation from the original Transformers cartoon, which a lot of them was designed as men. There were a couple of female Autobots. RC was one of them. But I think they did have her in a really weird.
Alita.
What?
Alita, I think, wasn't there?
She's a bit more obscure, though. I think she was like Optimus Prime's love interest. But yeah, the reason why you have characters like Ironside, Bumblebee, Jazz, Optimus Prime is because they were the main heavy hitters of the original G1 series.
Oh my
So
God.
they do have gender, and in these shows, but they never explain how they create new robots, to my knowledge, unless you're talking about the spark. I think they went into that a bit. Is the lifeblood of a transformer?
Look, the films fuck it up.
Yeah,
a lot. Don't go to film.
So when we talk about sex and gender with machines, or at least the Transformers, it's not exactly the same definition as you would for actual organisms. So they just have certain gendered traits.
I mean, technically Bumblebee can pee, so maybe he can also do other things. Bumblebee, stop lubricating that man.
But I mean, Transformers doesn't make any sense at all. Give me a break.
No, it doesn't.
Why would you need to have planes or whatever in space or that can transform into?
And how important is the
drone.
issue of what the sex these machines are?
It really doesn't matter.
No.
It's all a marketing thing. It's boys want to play with boy toys. That's
I like Dylan's comment. Robots are binary though. Ooh.
Hey, there you go. That's pretty funny.
And we'll get to that. Oh, we'll get to you, Michaela. But to start, I want to delve into a much more existential gender question. Let's talk about the gender of the robots. Those of you
Okay, first off, they don't have one.
who are new to Transformers fandom might be surprised to learn that the issue of gender is actually a somewhat contentious one. Or maybe you're not. The issue of gender seems to be a
I think 20.
Oh my god, my Google search.
They don't technically have genders, but maybe she's talking about quotation marks gender coding, which is that, I don't know, like Optimus Prime resembles more a male than he does a female, for instance.
E.C. Cohen's brought up a really good point. Why are all the Sailor Pretty Guardians girls in Sailor Moon?
Because they're drawn
why
by
are all the
females?
sailors?
Who cares?
Because it's a girly thing.
Because women or girls in certain high schools wear sailor outfits in Japan, and that was a motif she kept going with, and she called the thing Sailor Moon.
And it was for girls.
Yeah. Well, I watched it too, but yeah, it's for girls.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to. This is the irony of everything. Like, there's nothing wrong with being into something that's intended more for the female audience or more for the male audience. Or for kids, or for any group. You can enjoy something that's made for old people.
You just like what you like. You
It
just
was-
enjoy.
Yeah, but they wanna create a non-individualistic version of that. They want
Well, the problem
society
is
to
they
view
look
people
at-
a certain way.
they
They want there
look
to be
at male-
one rule.
They
for
look at
all of it.
male-dominated fandoms or male-dominated things, and it's like there need to be more women. They don't look at women or dominated things as there needs
Yes,
to be
they
more
do.
men.
They don't say they need more men. They say they need to make the women more masculine.
Well, I'm talking about things like they don't go to, I don't know, what's a female-dominated industry? Or female-dominated. They don't go to a female-dominated fandom and say, well, you know, there needs to be less women here.
No, the women need to be more masculine in that endeavor. That's what always happens invariably. There's not enough. If it's like, for example, Sailor Moon, they'd say, oh, you need a fat sailor, and you need a sailor that comes from Senegal, and you need an Arabic Muslim one and stuff. They just play that game over and over again. Because like I was saying, they need there to be one view of things across society. There can't be like individual different people just enjoying what they like and then leaving people to be the author of their own story. You know what I mean? It's a social context as opposed to an individualistic one.
I gotta read this super chat. Demonic Beast Megatron 94. In the Marvel UK comics, the Autobots built their first female Autobot in order to please a mob of angry feminists, and the feminists still found things to want. Wow, they still didn't like it. Yeah,
you know that's a Transformers fan because he knows about it, and his name is Demonic Beast Megatron. That's somebody who knows. Like, I want to ask, and you don't have to. Don't send another super chat if you don't want to, obviously. But in chat, I'll read it. I'm curious. What is the percentage of Transformers fans that you meet that are male versus female?
Transformers is kind of old, so I guess the OG fans would kind of be more masculine.
I'm pretty sure that it's totally it's that the movies are basically an imagination of a male, you know, a boyish sensibility made into a film.
The movies are kind of more like a fuck this what this is based on. Fuck if you enjoy the G1, because Michael Bay really doesn't like geeks. He really doesn't.
Michael Bay hates everybody. Michael Bay hates everybody.
but he really doesn't like geeks, for instance, and I would consider. I think a lot of fans actually consider the movies to be a big fuck you to anyone who likes the original stuff.
And general audiences consider it to be an insult to their intelligence.
Yeah, a lot of people consider Transformers films to be cack.
Well, even in the 80s, when there were other shows for boys and girls, there was Gem for girls, there was G.I. Joe for boys. You had My Little Pony and Cabbage Patch Kids were for everyone, I think. He-Man and She-Ra. There were all sorts of stories for a certain demographic. But as kids, you just watch TV and you just watch everything.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it was never a problem. We didn't need specific role models or certain male or female figures. They were in all the stories. So same with Sailor Moon. There were primarily female cast, and then you had like one or two males. So that's the story. That's the story they were trying to tell. And
That's
the fact
the story in Balamori.
Sorry?
I honestly think
Well, would you like to know?
Yeah. I think there are a couple of people that think that Michael Bay has slightly sociopathic tendencies, since he just seems not to be able to write people very well.
Well, Michael Bay doesn't people very well, so that transfers over to all the characters he writes, especially Sam Witwicky.
Yeah.
Witwicky.
Witwicky, or when he has Deep Wang corner him in a toilet, pull down his pants.
Deep Wang. My name's Deep Wang. You're in Deep Wang. You messed with the wrong Wang.
Here's Tyler Preston. Guess what, Lindsay? There are magical boys and female mech pilots. Nothing is stopping people from liking what they like. You're talking about the world of manga and thus anime. Yes, there is something for everyone in Japan, whether it's a comic, a story, a movie, a film, an animation. It's all there, young and old, any age, any category, any genre. It's there, which is awesome. And here's Mariner1712 again. What is this slightly improved Rebecca Sugar clone on my screen? And fun fact, she was director on VeggieTales. I'm not kidding. This is what happens when you do a Google search and you're surprised by the results that Transformers had genders. I guess. I don't know. I still can't.
Prime is a male. He has a girlfriend.
Yeah,
somehow. I'm not sure how Transformers have girlfriends.
I'm not sure how they feel. They don't have neurological signals being sent. They have circuits, but that's not.
Well, they still have feelings.
Do they?
They don't have genitalia.
That too.
Yeah. I just want to imagine that, when they have sex, it's just metal crashing against each other. When the sound you make when you smash two cars together over and over again.
Okay, thanks, Shiny. What are I'm imagining car crashes and just the wrong imagery. But there's a movie about that. All right, that's let's stop talking.
Maybe you're not. The issue of gender seems to be a fairly contentious one in general, even when you don't throw robots into the mix. But here's the thing.
Well,
there
when you search gender wars,
been female robots in Transformers, but there have nearly always been female robots in Transformers. We first see them in season 2 of the G1 cartoon.
Hold it, Ironhide. Ladies first.
Yeah, but no one knows or cares about these. The most popular one is RC.
The most famous token girl Autobot, though, was RC, who debuted in 1986's The Transformers the Movie, and totally isn't visually based on Princess Leia. There have been a smattering of girlbots throughout the years, the most well-known before the movies being Black Arachnia from Beast Wars. But flash forward to the 2007 movie and the question of gender pops up again. Should they all be coded male, or do we have a girlbot? Originally, we did have a girlbot.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Just look at how horrific the Michael Bay-ism of the RC is there.
I don't think anyone going into these films I wish there was a female car. Like a pink Miata or something.
I want to imagine...
It's not high on my list of priorities and what I'd look for a Transformers film to be better.
Or likable.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, they got a female plane transformer. It's like, that's kind of cool. But the fact that it's a plane is more interesting than it's a female plane. Well, no, I think a female plane, I want to know now the dynamic of what does it mean to be a female plane. So that
Isn't...
Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to say, because I've not watched any of them post number 3, but isn't the villain of Transformers 5 or what have you female coded?
5, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when was this made?
Tessa. This video or
this video?
The video is like early 2015, I think.
Oh boy!
It was published in 2017.
2017, really?
Well, this video we're watching right now, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind.
Transformers, retards in disguise.
Okay, here's.
I don't think the disguise is very. I don't think the disguise is very thin with Lindsay.
So, depending on when about this was released, the 5th Transformers film was released in June of 2017.
Oh, really?
So when was this video made?
June 30th, 2017.
I guess someone didn't go see the film.
Ooh.
Well, to be completely honest, I didn't either.
The release date for this film was the 12th of June, 2017.
What was that?
Which kind of dates this video terribly to begin with.
Here's a Mariner 1712 again.
Was that last night?
Last night.
Yeah, I saw it, and it was crap. I didn't see it in cinema, thank God. I pirated it.
Did you notice that the female robot was the villain?
I didn't care enough.
Doesn't that
because
make
at this point,
oh, wait,
I don't care.
Wow.
At this point, I just turned off. I was like, oh my God, this fucking piece, this film's shit. Just like the rest of them, I don't know what I was expecting. Apparently, like King Arthur or Merlin or whatever was actually a transformer, and the wikis have been a long line of knights dating back from medieval England. Actually, Bumblebee has been here since World War II. Wait, what? But Bumblebee was in World War II? Wait, what?
The Volkswagen,
We see what we're getting at, Lindsay Ellis. No one gives a shit if a robot is coded feminine in Transformers. They're terrible films that only have mass appeal because things explode and there are hot women in them.
Stop using logic to apply to a Michael Bay movie. Random juvenile crap happens, things explode, and people empty their wallets to see it.
If Bumblebee was female in Transformers 5, I wouldn't give a shit. The film still sucks.
Besides, we have Megan Fox midriff.
Exactly.
We've got the quota, guys.
I mean, she won't see this because we're mansplaining her right now, but still.
Good. Men are always right. Always.
I just want her comment. I just want her comment trolls to comment here and just to increase the number of people who've seen this, and the comic and the number of comments would just boost this tremendously.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't hate women, guys. Okay, some of the best lays I've had have been with women.
There you go.
Well, you're a radio. How do you have a penis?
There's that joke again.
That is the true question.
See, this is why he enjoys the Transformer movies and doesn't care about gender.
He just shoved of his antenna up there, up where the sun don't shine.
Okay.
Hey, did you know you're a radio?
I did.
Alrighty. Here's Mariner 1712. How did she explicative no sell Chromia, who was Ironhide's very obvious girlfriend? Was that from the original series?
Probably.
I don't recall. It's been a long time.
Oh, fuck it. I'll Google it.
Okay. Joe Crazy, Optimus, Bumblebee, stop mounting that Prius. Really? Oh, dear. Is Prius a female car? I don't think so.
I don't...
Is it a chick car?
There was probably an actual car like in there for product placement. I don't know. Maybe Bumblebee fucked a car. Who knows?
Oh, they put product placement with cars too?
Well, yeah, of course they had product placement with cars in Transformers. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Chromie was a G1
Victoria's
Transformer.
Secret, Oreos, everything.
Okay.
Like Jazz Jazz himself transformed into a product placement.
There's like 4 or 5 females here.
Chromie was G1.
Firestar, Greenlight, Moonracer. They're all female.
Were these like new cars that were coming out that year, or were they coming out the next year? Because that would be a huge marketing gimmick. That would be amazing. Get your car in this movie. It's coming out. Get the hype train going.
I'm pretty
for
sure Bumblebee's
cars.
An old Mustang.
Bumblebee was a Camaro prototype that eventually became the new Camaro. That was the Transformers 2007 catch.
Here's Mariner again.
It was a deal. They had a deal with General Motors for that.
It's like the Fast and Furious films, and they advertise new cars every time there's a new film.
And why wouldn't you? You need a car for the film because it's going to be Transformers, and you might as well get a cool one or a new one.
One of the most
there you go.
hilarious ads they had was Bud Light. They put so much focus on it as well. They crash into a van and a car. Bud Light is filled over the street. They get the camera really close to the Bud Light, just so you make sure it's Bud Light. And then the protagonist jumps out the spaceship that crashed. The guy gets out of his car. Oh, you better have insurance for that. And it's like he picks one up again, makes sure that it's Bud Light, cracks it on the door, and says it's a fucking spaceship. But do you think it has insurance? And then he drinks it. It's like, oh, loosen up, man. And he throws it on the ground.
Gloriously stupid is the best thing that could describe a Transformers movie.
I seem to recall, was it Casino Royale had the Vanquish? I think that was the first time they showed it off in a movie. So, it's not uncommon in film to do that. So it's more of a marketing gimmick to say, oh, look at this really sexy car in this really cool movie, where the cars usually get destroyed.
Transformers and all the other ones, I can't remember which one it was. They had Transformium, and they were hunting down Transformers, killing them, and then taking their raw metals and using them for product placement.
Oh boy!
So it's like, oh look, I can have what was it? Beats by Dre. I can have a Coca-Cola. I can do this, and he's got this CGI blocky shit just going from one hand to the other as it's like, oh look, product placement, more product placement, more product placement. I can have all the product placement in my hand.
Ah, my nemesis, Optimus Prime.
I'm not Optimus. I am Amazon Prime.
Genius. I love it.
All right. Mariner 1712.
He's just like a shipping truck.
Transmutate from Beast Wars is either female or non-binary. I'm trying to remember Beast Wars and I really liked Beast Wars too. But that would require these people to actually watch media. It was a really great show for its time. It had really good 3D, and the stories were actually competent. And there was a character, I think his name, he was an ant, I think. And he would always call the villain my queen, even though it was a male gender, which I thought was funny. It was always something about, don't worry about him. It's just part of his programming. Like he just sees the leader as the queen, which I thought was cool. But that's not a sexual thing. That's just a Beast War thing. Anyway.
Earlier version of the film, RC was going to be one of the Core 5 Autobots. But late in the game, RC was replaced with Ironhide.
You feeling lucky, punk?
According to co-writer
much better
RC, I would have liked to see RC, but the idea of a female Transformer just needs its own explanation, and there just wasn't going to be enough time.
No.
I like how it says
that
Bob
man is
Orsi,
stupid.
hack and 9/11 truther. Like you're taking a shot at him being a 9/11 truther, and like fuck you. This video by Lindsay Ellis, total hack and retard. Sorry, go on. I was just being fair and balanced.
It would have been like, oh, that's convenient. They're trying to appease women with a pink Transformer. So rather than have that happen, let's just let it be a straight shot and speak for itself right now. So we don't need to explain this.
Bumblebee, stop lubricating that man.
It's for fun. It's humor.
It's terrible
it's-
humor,
it's-
but humor nonetheless.
It's cartoony humor for kids, which is what this is.
Or
What's cracking, little bitches?
You don't need an explanation for that, bitch.
First Lieutenant. Designation Jazz. This
Designation: little black guy that gets killed in the beginning.
looks like a cool kick it.
But a ladybot would have made audiences go, I don't know. I mean, Megatron accidentally etching coordinates to the MacGuffin inside another MacGuffin I'll buy. A magical glow cube that's the progenitor for all the alien robots that turn into Camaros I'll buy. But that one of them displays female secondary sex characteristics and is pink?
You're defending it like film, and like we say it's a good film.
Sorry.
Like we're saying all these things are good.
Wait, secondary sex. Are we talking like clothing and like dresses? Like what is a secondary sex characteristic?
I'm very curious about how what the explanation actually would have been, because that does actually make me wonder why. You know what I mean? I can critique things. I have a brain. It doesn't change just because I'm watching Transformers with titties out.
Yeah, I don't think we would care if the shape of a female Transformer was more feminine. It just wouldn't bother. Like, why? Then we'd be questioning, what the hell?
How little Ironside, or was it Irons? Fuck, I've already forgotten his name now. That's how little he has to do with the fucking film. So if you changed him to RC, it wouldn't change anything. It literally wouldn't do bugger all.
Imagine changing the black guy to a black woman.
Ironhide.
Oh yeah, change Jazz to a female Jazz, and she gets killed. Oh, look what they did to the female Transformer, man! It's like the same problem. It's like, oh, they don't care about women. It's like, listen, they fit their role. Be happy it was there.
Isn't the secondary lead in all of these films a woman?
Yep.
What are they complaining about?
Because she's sexualized.
Don't be sexy in a Transformers film.
Well, then again, in the feminist defense, the female characters in Michael Bay films tend to be not not well written.
So nothing tends to be well written in a Michael Bay film.
I mean, into like they are pretty much sidelined half the time, and only when it either comes to like the only times they're there is.
Are you sure about that?
But like, I'm pretty. They don't really do that much in the film. Really,
What film are you talking about?
Most of them.
I don't. I think she's pretty important in this film.
I don't think she is. I'm trying to think of the only thing that I think of the female doing is like getting Megatron to have a little pissy fit and betray the Transformer that betrayed Optimus Prime. I don't remember much else doing anything.
Carly, that wasn't even Megan Fox. That was just the Victoria's Secret model that they.
Again, I'm not saying it's sexist at all, but I'm just saying the female character doesn't exactly do much.
No,
or have
they don't.
relevancy.
No, they don't.
Well, you go to a Michael Bay film to watch mindless explosions. You don't go there for progressivism
Or plot.
or plot. You don't go to a Michael Bay film expecting anything other than
Good humor, or anything.
really. You're there for the visual effects budget and a hell of a lot of product placement.
Here is
Dumb action.
Mariner 1712 again. Hot take: Transformers Prime isn't that good. I think that was the animation. I don't know how long ago.
It was one of the animated series.
Yeah, it was after Beast Wars.
It's one of the recent ones. It's the one which came out a few years ago. The one that came after Beast Wars was Cybertron.
Yeah, I never saw post Beast Wars, so I never really cared about any of the others. But okay, isn't that good? Also, Orci got kicked out of working on Star Trek Beyond because he literally threw a tantrum in the boardroom because he wanted to control the film. Really? Orci. Star Trek Beyond Orci.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I grew up watching like Transformers Cybertron. As a kid, I remember loving it, and then I grew up and I watched clips on it on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a piece of shit." So stupid. The one thing I do really like is that they have like these big scenes where it shows like the Transformers transforming. I need some nice designs.
So here's another one from Mariner 1712. Pain and Gain is a legit good film. I don't even know what that is. Is that the same genre?
So Pain and Gain is a movie about a set of guys who kidnap a rich man, Marky Mark, and it's Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Mackie, and The Rock kidnap Tony Shalhoub in order to get his money.
Tony Shalhoub?
Yep.
Oh, why would they drag him out?
I don't.
Oh dear. I've never heard of it, but okay, that's. Oh jeez. Here it is again, Mariner 1712. It's hysterical because I was told that story by one of the production staff who I'm friends with. Bob Orsi. Sis is a man-child. We're talking about Star Trek Beyond, right? That's like the third film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Supposedly the better of the three films.
That's not saying much, really.
Yeah. Okay. Lots of things I haven't heard of or cared to watch. I mean, once you get past a certain age, you're like, all right, I know it's with Star Trek, Star Wars, Transformers. I know these things. I don't need to have them reintroduced, or you might spoil a few things. Might ruin your childhood.
Yeah.
That's so Skaven. RC could be Transformer, a dishwasher. RC. Oh.
RC, not RC, like, yeah.
I got it.
That's pretty funny.
Should be very good at it, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to absorb more of Optimus's Robopex and enjoy his deep, manly voice while I smoke on this for a little while.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Wouldn't it be more...
What? That's not a criticism. Saying that what, you making fun of people that like that stuff? What if they do like that stuff? What makes your stuff better? What makes having a pink Transformer better? Who cares, right? I'm barking up the wrong tree here, right? Like, this is all because she wants her way, something like that. That's what this is about.
Guess so.
Where are all the women?
So, whoever like watches this and is convinced, what kind of person is that?
But you don't, Glib, because postmodernism.
Oh, right. What is postmodernism? It's super broad. It's complicated. Tim Pool Beanie.
more interesting to explore a robot society that exists outside the confines of
Oh, hey, LD, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, I've actually seen the movie Pain and Gain. Actually, it's pretty good. It's very funny.
Really?
Actually, about a guy who works out his whole life, and his whole life has been just working out. He puts in all this effort, and he starts going into this life of crime when he meets Tony Shalhoub's character. Because Tony Shalhoub is this little shrimpy guy who, terrible health, terrible hygiene, all that stuff. But he's a really good businessman, and he's the whole switch happens in Mark Wahlberg's head when he's like, okay, well, I've been working hard my whole life. I have he's very fit and everything. And he's like, how come I'm here working doing the scut work, doing this low pay job, while this guy is letting his body go to ruin, and he's basically a scumbag. Because Tony Shalhoub's character, I think, is a scumbag. This scummy businessman, and so he decides to rob him, I think. And it has The Rock in there also, and the Rock is like
Anthony Mackie,
and the Rock plays as like this kind of goofball who's like he doesn't have very much in the head. He's just like, I don't know what happens to get to this point, but at one point they want to hide some part of the body, so he starts so the Rock takes out a bunch of severed hands. He starts grilling them on a grill to try to burn them so they can get rid of them. It's a very crazy movie.
Yeah. Based on real events, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah, based on real events.
boy, oh boy.
Although that can almost mean anything. I mean, maybe you've seen the Strangers or something like that, where the people come in and kill a bunch of people. Well, that was based on real events, and by real events, it means that one time the writer found out there were some robbers in the neighborhood, and that's it. That was the real events.
When did LiteratureDevil get here?
Just came.
Early.
Yeah.
Always has been. Always have been here.
It's been here the whole time.
Oh my.
Him and his chocolatey smooth voice.
Okay, here's is it Roni or Roan? Roan Hirushin would like this G Gundam would this like G Gundam cause it has a female Gundam designed to look like a Sailor Scout. She'd probably over the racist Tequila Gundam. Oh, well.
Couldn't keep yourself away, Dev.
Yeah.
No. Because it reminds me of this whole quote from Bill Maher. I'm trying to find the quote, but it was from his blog when he was it actually got him in so much trouble. He started trending on Twitter for it, but it was basically him chastising people on adulting, and it said something that was really good. And but he said basically that eventually there's so many colleges in America that we came to a like the top off. Like he said in his words that we needed more professors than we had smart people. So a bunch of dumb people got to be professors. So people became professors by stating some weird stuff in their theses. I'm trying to find what he called it because it was pretty good.
Well, I try to remember what G Gundam was back in the day. That was like a early 90s show. It wasn't on TV though. You had to like rent it. And it was one of those like you had like so many VHSs to find. You get like number 7. It had like volumes 8 to 10 or whatever. So I don't remember much of it though. Been a while.
Or that explores the purpose of gender in a species that does not reproduce sexually. And yes, believe it or not, some Transformers fiction does get into that. The IDW comics are doing some interesting stuff with the idea of gender in a
and they're shit
right now. But the
no
movies
one
are not
likes
here for
them.
I the whole plate.
What was that about?
You're talking about the clip?
Yeah.
In the clip, he's being interrogated and he gets given donuts as a part of an interrogation technique.
It's like if you're guilty, you don't eat anything, but if you're not guilty, you eat the whole plate.
Okay, I found the quote by Bill Maher. See if it sounds familiar. Okay, because this reminds me. This whole quote or this video by Lindsay Ellis reminded me of this quote by Bill Maher. And Bill Maher is a very hardcore leftist, so this is pretty telling. But he says, 20 years or so ago, something happened. Adults decided that they didn't have to give up kid stuff, and so they pretended comic books were actually sophisticated literature. And because America has 4,500 colleges, which means we needed more professors than we had smart people, some dumb people got to be professors by writing theses with titles like Otherness and Heterodoxy in the Silver Surfer. And now when adults,
so true.
Now when adults are forced to do grown up things like buy auto insurance, they call it adulting, and act like it's some sort of giant struggle.
Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with analyzing a comic book or any kind of story. It's how you do it and what lens you're using. So
yeah, I don't agree with Bill Maher on the whole thing. Well, any kind of media is basically for kids, or only for kids. But what was funny about that was that he kind of pointed this out, and this reminds me that part with the how some of these professors became professors by writing their theses based on like heterodoxy and the Silver Surfer, becoming professors on this stuff. Like it's not just something like an academic paper or anything. This is how they got professorship. This is how they're able to elevate to the position of teaching the next generation by writing analysis. Writing a thesis called heterodoxy in the Silver Surfer. That's probably something he made up, but he's just making fun of the fact that he saw theses that are like this. And this reminds me of this Lindsay Ellis video. Like you're going over these weird things that no one cares about and probably aren't even in, or think anyone thinks about. Probably aren't even in the movie about all your isms and stuff. Okay, this is not actually probably in the movie. But that's what this reminds me of. just a whole in-depth analysis on nothing. That's probably in there.
This is what the general use of lenses, when you talk about film or story criticism, you use a lens to look at a certain aspect to bring it out more, to look at a thing, not to bring your philosophy with you, but to bring out the movie into a certain light that it's always been there. You just haven't seen it. That's the point of a lens. You don't say, here's a framework that we're going to wrap our brain around this film with. And it's like, well, you don't have to do that if it's not in the film. And once you start trying to reach for things that aren't there, like the previous super chat was talking about how, what if there was a female Gundam with like a Sailor Scout outfit and they were wearing it? Like, that'd be kind of corny and stupid. And not to say that Gundam is the most adult-oriented story. Some of them are, not the early ones. But if they had a little bit of regalia that were feminine or masculine, be like, why is this Gundam wearing a cape? In some cases, that was tactical. There was a reason for that. But in certain cases, it was like, this is completely ornamental. You don't need a mustache on a Gundam. You don't need a sword that has like a prong at the end or whatever.
Exactly. We just want to, sometimes we just want to watch a Gundam show so we can see cool, big, giant robots fight.
Exactly. That's why you have it.
I'm going to bugger off. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, Shiny.
Later.
Right. See you, Shiny.
Bye.
He's going. There he is. Okay.
Lindsay killed Shiny.
I'm surprised. I think there's other things going on in his life, but, it's possible. Lindsay is not the best YouTuber to watch about this kinds of stuff.
It's also 12:40 over there.
He's not as bad as Maggie, though. Maggie is worse, though.
Maggie's
way worse.
Number one. And we haven't watched one at all this month. I'm surprised, you guys. I thought we would have...
Oh, we should watch a RoboCop. We should watch a RoboCop one.
Okay. I mean, I'm all for it. Just once a month, guys. That's our fix. It's like crack. You only do it so many times. It's just, gotta pace yourself. Here's Mariner 1712. Ah, yes. Literary critique should only be reserved for highbrow literature like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think
highbrow literature like Archie Andrews comics.
Yeah, I don't think there are too many. Honestly, I've never seen too many people criticize Sherlock Holmes because it's so freaking hard to wrap your brain around some of these mysteries so much. You really have
some of them are pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, there's all this stuff that you'd have to like reference from 100 years ago or 120 years ago, whatever it was, to get the history right. So it's a lot of work to do that. But you can analyze anything, and you just have to do it properly so you don't make an ass of yourself when you hand your thesis paper to your professor and he looks at you like, you really want to do this? Gem and the Holograms and its meaning on postmodernist of the Vietnam War. It's like, no.
I can't wait for the exploration of otherness and heterodoxy in Barney the Dinosaur.
Oh,
that's gonna be awesome.
Here's John Lemley. Thank you, sir. Please let me in the RoboCop one. Also, Woman is still a better look than the Ketchup Merchant. Oh, do you want to do the RoboCop one? I mean, I don't know if Shiny's going to be for that, if we can slot it in. But
you could always do her Fight Club one.
I want to do the fight one. Yeah, I like the fight. I want to do Fight Club in general.
Now, Fight Club you could do. But, I mean, Transformers, I don't think a lot of thought was put into Transformers. I think let's get a bunch of explosions and giant robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the plots are fairly straightforward. Do the thing that everyone liked from 30 years ago and make it cool. Make it look really cool. That's Transformers.
And inserting Michael Bay's sociopathic non-understanding of how people work.
Well, we could argue the dialogue for many writers that don't work. So,
I'm thinking like just the dumb things that the parents do, like sniffing the pot brownies by accident, or when they just when they dress up in like green jumpsuits just 'cause.
Luckily, I haven't seen these films, so I'll take your word for it.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah, I got that feeling over the years. Yeah, they are pretty bad. Here's Mariner 7012. Smud, the joke is that Sherlock is the prototype for pulp literature and character resurrection. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. There's lots of things that Sherlock was the prototype for the detective genre in general, I would say. But yeah, he definitely, character resurrection was one of them, or writers coming back to their work after a lot of fans complained and demanded it. And the publisher was like, please make more. So, and Pulp Fiction is a big thing from 150 years ago, and that's all they had was magazines.
And that's why I recommend Sherlock Holmes. It's a lot of fun. The stories are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. And they're very good. To me, they're very good exploration to the concept of how you can make this a perspective, right? Get the right perspective on this interesting character like Sherlock Holmes. Because Sherlock Holmes has all these talents, and he's a larger than life character. But you don't follow Sherlock Holmes directly. You follow Watson, and Watson tells you what's going on, and you can see from Watson's perspective. So Sherlock Holmes is free to do all these amazing things, and you don't have to detail every single instance of what he's doing. So, Sherlock Holmes, Watson can see Sherlock Holmes leave at one point, and then he comes back dressed as a priest or something. And he's like, okay, let me tell you what happened, Watson. It's great. And then it kind of happens off screen, but the magnificence of Sherlock Holmes is really what happens with his ideas and his planning. It's kind of like this, almost the same appeal, I would say, as some of the stories from Lone Wolf and Cub. Like, it's ridiculous sometimes, but it's a lot of fun in what goes into the plan and how elaborate they can be.
It was originally the idea that he was observing his professor of medicine at the time, and he based Sherlock after him. But after, I think, about the third year he was doing this, they had a talk about this because he knew what Doyle was doing. He's like, the professor said to Doyle, like, no, you're Sherlock now, because he was writing him so well that he went beyond the caricature he made of his professor. So it's a cool, I have the complete works on my desk here. It's always a great read, always lots of good plots, as you would expect from Doyle. So, guys got to read your detective fiction.
Although I don't think you like Mormons very much. The Study in Scarlet. I don't think he's a very big fan of Mormons.
Mormons, the blacks, the Chinese, you name it. And anyone who was from the other parts of the world, yeah.
According to read Study in Scarlet, apparently Mormons are like, I don't know, cultish ninja people.
Yeah, that's funny. You never trust a Mormon.
Awesome.
It's more. Well, we are cultish book clubbers essentially, but I haven't met any ninjas who yet.
Yeah, well, in Study in Scarlet, there's like this guy. It's his perspective, right? From Sherlock Holmes to across the world, and they're basically in this Mormon cult because the Mormons saved them, and they want the daughter to marry one of their top-ranking sons or something. So, and he says, no, I don't want to do that. So what they do instead is, all right, they sneak into his house every night, like ninja, no trace, no nothing. And they like leave a number on there. So like in 5 days, you have to make a decision. And he locks his doors. He padlocks them. He just does it. And he's rich too. So it's not like he's has the lowest quality stuff. He's very rich. But they keep sticking into his house no matter what. And they plant like paper with these numbers on it, like right above his bed. So he wakes up, he sees them. So they're like ninjas. And it's never really addressed how they did this. They just did it. And it was interesting. Very interesting.
He obviously really embellished the Mormons. Even his daughter was like, yeah, this is not right. This is not how Mormons are.
Mormons sound cool.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they're fucking ninjas. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. Like,
they're obviously writers can embellish entire groups of people, but we're talking about.
I mean, there's embellishment, and then there's what Conan Doyle did to Mormons.
At least it's not like offensive depiction of us.
I mean, it's like a evil cultish sort of depiction, but I have never seen. It was funny because I never seen Mormons, because Mormons are usually depicted today, and it's true because I've met a lot of Mormons, or some Mormons. I don't want to say a lot, but I've met some Mormons, and they're like the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. So it was very funny reading this depiction by Conan Doyle about how there's a cultish, murderous tribe of ninjas.
it was not just Mormons, but it was other groups of like the Chinese as well. The opium, whatever that weird room was, they went downtown. And,
Oh yeah.
So there's all sorts of like shady characters in these stories. So it's kind of like, oh, this is what you would expect from a Chinese man. This is what you expect from someone from Europe or whatever. So he would do these big generalizations about characters because what the technique that Sherlock does sort of takes the best example out of the most likely candidate because Sherlock's been doing it for so long, he knows it all. So he just sort of assumes this as a deduction and induces that outcome. So he'll make lots of grand sweeping statements that are generally true for the outcome, which sounds weird because it's not what you think Sherlock does, but we actually listen to him. You're like, oh, so yeah, that would be a milkman. The way you described it, it can only be a milkman.
Yeah, there's a funny thing about that whole Sherlock Holmes thing where he looks outside, he's like, what do we make of that guy, Holmes? And then Sherlock Holmes looks outside, and he predicts everything about the guy right down to the T. And Lee Child does the same thing, or something similar with his character Jack Reacher. And he said, he was in an interview, and he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't really happen in real life." Like in the book, they'll look at the guy, and he's a Marine, and he's been in the service for 4 years. Just came back from Afghanistan or something. But in real life, you do all this, and it's like, "Oh no, I was a Marine. I'm a construction worker or something like that." Like in real life, that wouldn't happen usually. That's what he said. It was pretty funny because, yeah, you probably get something wrong. You can't. It's probably very unlikely that you'd be that spot on with everything. But it's the difference, right? So it doesn't break your suspension of disbelief. Like you can, because you can't understand that thing can happen. Like you can conclude some things about somebody based on their appearance. We do it all the time, but it just stretches a little bit more because these characters we're talking about are so fantastical and larger than life, like Sherlock Holmes and Jack Reacher. That it doesn't break it. I mean, it catches our fascination, but it still seems at least somewhat remotely plausible.
We talk about Victorian era period. It's so alien to most of us. So to hear these descriptions of how horse carriages are drawn and what they wore and all the 400 different kinds of tobacco butts that Sherlock, like all these bizarre information. It's like, whoa, this guy knows a lot of stuff. So
I don't care what BBC Sherlock says. I like that stuff.
It's intricate. That's why it's interesting because it's an alien world as far as I'm concerned. So when you hear these things about how women dressed and how they went out at night, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. So you get involved in that. Anyway, we're off topic. Let's get back to what we're talking about here. We got a lot of super chats to catch up on. Sorry about that. We went off for a few minutes. Ron Herushin. By the way, Smud, there was a Gundam with a mustache. Just look up Turn A. I know, that's why I was referring to it, because I know Turn A Gundam. It's one of my favorites. I know it's very eclectic, but that's just me.
If I had a Gundam, I'd put a mustache on it and a beard.
The Turn A Gundam. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. John Lemley. Pulp Fiction was a bigger thing 26 years ago than 150 years ago. Pulp Fiction was indeed one of the greats. Some would argue the last great movie by John Travolta or Samuel L. Jackson, although I kind of like Get Shorty. So
that's why I like Pulp Fiction. I mean, I like the movie, but I like the genre. I mean, usually that's what I'm usually talking about. I like the genre of Pulp Fiction because if you look at the mechanics of it, like because I always say this, it was the prime time to look at the pioneers of how to construct a compelling story quickly, because they were incentivized. It's not they were like doing a Joseph Campbell where they're doing all kinds of in-depth study. They needed to pump out material so they can get paid. So they were incentivized to look into the mechanics of what makes a good story. How can I write a good story? How can it be compelling? How can it sell? And how can I do it quickly? And with as few mistakes as possible. So they came up with like patterns and formulas and all kinds of stuff. So there's actually like plot generators you can get from the ideas and the techniques of Pulp Fiction creators. And it's like, okay, here's a plot, here's what's happening, here's a bad guy. It's to toss it in. Basically they just took a bunch of tropes, threw them together, and put together a basic conflict, and then just pumped it out, because they weren't trying to write the next groundbreaking novel. They were trying to basically do what YouTubers do today, is pump out continuous material so they can get paid. But they were looking into why exactly they sold.
It's very similar to that. They were surviving by the letter, and they had to do really good stuff really quickly, and get their stories across so they fit all on the page, and the publisher can go to print the next day. So that's how writers wrote. They didn't have enough time and money to make their own books or novels, so they had to work by literally the word or the letter. Yeah, and magazines.
Let's see. Our Master DX says, would Monday Matt be a pulp writer? No, he would be a guy who. Well, he could be, I guess, but he would be the ones that failed.
Yeah. Okay, and next super chat is: do ninjas have magic underwear?
The Japanese have that thing called was it called the sarahi, or what the hell's that called? It's basically.
I'm pretty sure Mormon ninjas do.
Yeah. Well, it's a joke about LDS garments that we wear or under our clothing.
Okay. Cool.
As long as they're comfy, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Whatever you got going there, just make sure you've got breathable space.
Look,
it's very comfortable.
The Mormons, they celebrate holidays. That makes them more relatable than the Jehovah's Witnesses. So we're on track.
I would agree. Also, they weirdly enough, they don't believe that Christ died on a shaped cross. They believe it was in a straight L shape, which is weird.
I guarantee you I've had weirder ideas than the creators of some religions.
Here's
Probably.
Here's Joshua Buckle. Love that. Dunn may not have met the ninjas, but they have definitely met him. What does that mean?
Probably. Probably. Well, it's they're hiding amongst the Mormon population. They're really good ninjas. But they exist.
Yeah, it's the great secret.
They're really,
of
really good ninjas.
They're really, really peaceful until you get really close to them. Then you're dead, and no one knows what happened to you after that.
You know why I like Mormonism? I never met a Mormon communist.
You haven't met my sister, but then again, she doesn't really want to be Mormon, so.
Oh, so she's a Mormonist or whatever?
Oh, no.
I guess.
Oh, no.
Wait.
All right, let's keep going.
Here's Mariner 17.
Gloss over that joke.
Yeah. Wait, fine. That dude on the Suede channel, awesome contributor for a time, Mormon, carried a katana.
I do have 9 swords.
Oh.
In my on my wall. So.
Okay, cool. That's a lot of swords.
Including a katana and ninjutsu. Yeah, including a katana and ninjutsu and a bunch of swords from Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones.
I had a few friends of that collected swords as well. So it's a common thing.
Nice.
They love their ornamental as well as real swords. So
between you and Shad, I think we have enough arms to fight a medieval battle. I think we'll be fine.
Probably. And if and I know that Brandon Sanderson lives close to me. I bet we could ask him.
Really?
I've actually been to his office. I've been to his office and I've helped him, his office workers, stack and count his books that he's printed out.
Cool. Here's Joe Crazy. Yes, the Ninja Mormons of Clan Utah. Yeah. Who knew?
Ghost of Salt Lake City will sweep the 2025 Game of the Year awards.
It's kind of like, okay, maybe not that far. It's kind of like how Canada has an intelligence agency that no one's heard of because they're not popular, but we do have one. We don't.
They're
even know
so
what
secret.
There.
Dunn is a Mormon shinobi in training.
Yeah, that was what was going through my head when you were talking about all the swords. I was like, Dunn and the 9 swords. It sounds like some sort of epic tale.
Oh.
So imagine a Japanese anime about a Mormon, like a traditional Mormon guy, but he's actually a samurai.
All right, John Lemley, Ghost of Salt Lake City will sweep the 2025 Game of the Year awards. Ghost of Salt Lake City.
Ghost of I think it's
a future game.
New samurai game that came out.
Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. Okay. I think this year is going to be it's going to be Cyberpunk and Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, those are the big two. Well, aside from Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that sold a lot. It sold a lot. I don't know if it's going to get the same reviews, though.
Oh, no. Let's keep going with this video, shall we?
Yes.
The most common response you hear is that the Transformers are coded male, but they don't really have gender. To which the postmodernist, cultural, Marxist, communist, feminist might reply,
inane bullshit.
Ism.
You just don't understand. You. It's all you. We're right.
Istisms. Let's call them istisms. All the isms and the ists. That's what we're talking about.
What do you suffer from the? Are you on the spectrum? The istism spectrum?
Oh look, she's adding Transformers 4 bits. Lovely.
Ugh.
but these Transformers are obviously unambiguously coded male. How can you say that these characters have no gender when the flesh monkeys, what created them to have such unambiguous masculine traits?
Coding
the flesh monkeys that created them.
Coding and gender are not the same thing, and I'm surprised I have to explain that to you.
Do we need to explain that to the audience? I think their audience is pretty smart.
Also, where did coding come from? Anything specific? I think to me, the term coding in this context is just a way for them to make what they see feel academic. So they have a pseudo academic way of being able to justify. Obviously, this movie is sexist because of these reasons. Because this character is obviously X coded, and sure they're being demonized.
I'm pretty sure coding just means that such and such a character behaves with these kind of traits from this gender kind of thing. So,
or this race, or this race.
I know what coding is. Yeah. I know what coding means. I know what coding is, but I never hear that term before. I never heard that term before. I never hear that term anywhere except when it's one of these postmodernist, Marxist, whatever isms or whatever.
So if I want to be proper, I don't say she should go back to the kitchen. I should say something like, you should go do the coded gender role that females do in a heteronormative civilization.
Indeed. See, women tend to say this unsubstantiated, profound shit and then blame it on their zodiac sign, like, sorry, I'm an asparagus.
or apparently, like, say, just because these things are... Everybody here has seen Labyrinth, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So, I think School of Movies once said on their Labyrinth show that those red devils that like kick each other's heads off, he said that they're coded as Jamaican stereotypes.
What?
Okay. Either Jamaican or some kind of like black Rasta something.
See, this is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. This is why I think they came up with the term coded, so they can say, call it anything, whatever they want. So even if the creator didn't have this, even the creator made something like that, and they didn't intend to be offensive or have any idea, maybe they don't even know what Jamaicans are. They can say, well, they're Jamaican coded, and therefore it's racist, or therefore it is anti-whatever people.
I got to point out there, too, that there's nothing wrong inherently with having a stereotype. They did that, too. They made it offensive for there to be a stereotype.
Yeah.
There was that whole push.
I enjoy... personally, I enjoy the Mexican stereotype or the Hispanic stereotype. I love it. All of them. There's no more than one, There's the lazy one. There's the si senor one. The si senor. That one. They come in and do all your work.
Well, I don't even know what guy that is. That's the funniest thing about that stereotype. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't have a name for that, and I don't think I do.
There's Cheech and Chong.
Speedy Gonzalez, or Speedy Gonzalez, friends with everybody.
Aren't you bring up Speedy Gonzalez? The white liberals or whatever you want to call them, they tried to get Speedy Gonzalez taken off the air because they thought it was offensive to Mexicans and Hispanic types.
Really?
They succeeded, and it was brought back on the air eventually because Hispanics and the Mexicans said, no, we want it back. We love Speedy Gonzalez. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
They like it because, it's not mean to say that they're lazy, feckless, flatulent, odor-riddled, tripe, idiotic morons sitting after their mid-afternoon cup of reheated beans with sick on it, staring at a cactus half asleep, leaning against a fence, while wearing a rug with a hole in the middle on as a fucking coat.
Yes, exactly.
That's just called siesta.
Si, senor.
Yes, the siesta's our thing. Okay, we sit around doing nothing. That's our.
The little Mexican boy over there that just says "si, senor" to everything. He's very quiet and studious, and he does everything I tell him to do. He should come along on this pulp adventure. Si, senor.
Anyone seen Boondock Saints 2? It's like the Romeo. Yeah, that guy. He actually has to play a stereotype in the movie, and then not the character, but he has to disguise himself as even more of a stereotype. So he can disguise himself in the front of the eyes of the Italian mob or whatever. And so he's like, si, senor, hi boy. Yeah, so he's like that, and he's like, give me that gun. I'm getting insulted back there. Just give me the gun.
I like I like that. So Speedy Gonzales, right? It's not an original character. It's such a classic Looney Tunes cartoon character, and it's a character that is just like Tom and Jerry. It's just that, according to these people, it would be coded as a Hispanic stereotype or whatever. But at the same time, they also use the same mentality that they're criticizing to demand representation in movies. And their ideas that they think are so original, their aesthetics when it comes to haircuts and clothing choices and body types, are all stereotypical of their own thinking. So while they are against the stereotypes that they think are offensive, they can do as many stereotypes that we find boring and even offensive over and over again, as long as they agree with whatever it is. And that's what makes it so annoying. It's like, go ahead, go make any kind of stereotypical thing where you hate men and blah, 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 or whatever that you actually want to do. And stop pretending that you're being equal and that you're the moral superiority of the world, while also demanding more, stereotypes from your neck of the woods, the gender non-binary stereotype or the intersectional feminist stereotype. You can't avoid the stereotyping. It's just something that is how people abbreviate information. It's like if you boil something down to something that isn't charitable and is just a bunch of that is describing a group of individual people, then you're going to get a stereotype, no matter what.
They essentially say the word coding as a replacement for stereotype because stereotype has negative connotation to it.
Yeah. And stereotypes are not bad. Like Glib said, stereotypes are not bad. I mean, the original Star Trek used stereotypes to show a future where everyone works together. And the reason why they use stereotypes is because they're universally recognizable within the context of the country or whatever it is. Because if they have a Scotsman and they're like Scotty, and you are personally not a Scotsman, and you only heard about the Scotsman, you never met one or whatever, but you've heard of them, you have an idea of what a Scotsman is, and just like so when they made Star Trek, they wanted to portray a Scotsman, they would use a stereotype. So basically, the original series is a collection of stereotypes put into the same ship, so that they can be all universally recognizable among everyone. So if I don't know, a white guy from America was looking at the screen, he could instantly recognize the Russian or a Japanese guy or a Chinese guy or a black woman and say, okay, well I recognize that person. I recognize that person. That's a Scotsman, obviously. That's a Russian. So that's why they was kind of exaggerated too. So someone who is not those people and never met a person like them can recognize them and say, hey, that's a Russian guy working with an American. This is a future where everyone works together.
And they're actually not the stereotype. You just assume that they're the stereotype. So it's like, oh yeah, there's a Russian guy, he's going to do this. And then you see the positive or the comedy in it. And it's either like they're riffing on something or they're trying to promote a positive aspect of someone's culture. And I think that's interesting. But I think that what people do with stereotypes is they use that as a starting foundation. And I think that that's not necessarily good or bad, but it's something that I think that the human mind does to conserve information, because you have a carrying capacity of information in your head. Yes. So when somebody says, "Oh, I have this story," well, what's it about? Well, it's about a bad guy that wants to take over the world. That's a stereotype. We think of stereotypes in this intersectional context that we get presented with all the time, and we think, "Oh, it's this black guy and he likes hip hop and his pants are sagging." Like that's what they think all stereotypes are like. Is this sort of racial, what is it? I don't even remember what it's called. What's the blackface art or whatever it is that used to be popular at the beginning of the century? I don't even remember what it was, minstrel show or whatever. Like that's the stereotype that they go to. They don't think, oh wait a minute, when I'm watching The Office, my favorite show that's so clever or whatever, it's actually a bunch of stereotypes. Or Parks and Recreation, it's a bunch of stereotypes. Or Saturday Night Live, which is a lot of offensive stereotypes. It's just not politically offensive to the people creating it. And I think that is really the core of everything here, where like if someone stereotypes you based on your identity, like, you know, and you know, I don't really take offense if somebody says a bunch of Americans are fat. I go, yeah, you know, that's true, because I understand why you see that stereotype, because the average. I'm not fat, but I understand why you think that. Now, somebody that gets offended and wants to have some sort of visceral reaction, that's this kind of thinking, where it's like, you know, oh, wait, you're laughing at me now? You can't laugh at me now. I'm the one that is laughing at everybody else. And that's the problem. If everybody was just okay with the stereotype of their culture or their race or their personality type or the kinds of jokes that they make being lampooned in something, and because they recognize that they laughed at other ones, then we'd have a more positive society, instead of a culture that's all about canceling each other because everybody's spiteful about their stereotype being negative. Like, oh, I don't want to be this stereotype anymore. But you never were this stereotype. That's just the reductionist, not even conclusion, but the kind of initial opinion or thing that people are going to see at first sight. They don't see the individual in that endeavor. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but that is what I believe the science is. I think that's what's happening in the subconscious.
All right.
I look at stereotypes the same way I look at tropes, just regular tropes in writing, where people say that, you know, the cliches. You can't use cliches. You can't use all these tropes or anything. But no, these cliches and tropes and stereotypes are useful, but they become useless, and they only become a detriment if you just rely on them. So it's just a character that's just a stereotype. It's kind of like if you got it's a pre-made package, and you're trying to sell the pre-made package you ordered from Amazon off as your own product. That's kind of what it is. Like, it's not. Yeah, people might buy it, but it's not that great. It's not unique. And you're going to get like a 1 or 2 stars or whatever. But if you take that starter kit, right, you take a starter kit and you get the stereotypes, and you just kind of get that stereotype and that cliche, and you whittle it down, and you make it fit just right in all your story in a unique way in the context of your story, then it becomes your own thing. And you build it out of stereotypes, and you build it out of tropes, and you build it out of cliches, but it becomes something different. Maybe have started with those things like Star Trek did, but it becomes its own thing. Like what's his name? The Russian guy from Star. I forgot. I can't remember his name. Yeah, Chekhov. Chekhov. I mean, he started off as like a Russian stereotype, maybe even introduced as a Russian stereotype, but he became his own character eventually, and that's what happens with all these other stereotypes. When they're written well, they are introduced to you as a stereotype, so you can see and instantly recognize who these people are and what their role in the story is. Like, you know, you have a movie about the main character is like a nerd, and he's thin, but his best friend is everything he isn't. So the main character can look good, but you know exactly who the other guy is. He's supposed to be the best friend, who's supposed to be, you know, more awkward. He's supposed to be an exaggerated version of the main character. So the main character might be awkward, but the best friend is there to be even more awkward, so he doesn't look as bad in comparison. So you know these things. You know by this look of the stereotype that, oh, this guy is the awkward nerd. Right? This guy is the jockish Chad or whatever, who's the captain of the football team. So there's kind of like an introduction. So you know instantly what these characters' roles are, what their kind of personalities are, by a glance, you know these things, or you can kind of guess these things. And so that's how you get into subversion of expectations. That's how you get to, exceeding expectations or molding them out into something different. So you can have you can introduce, for example, the jock, the captain of the football team. And what do we usually think about the captain of the football team that's been stereotyped as? They are stupid. They are big, muscly dude bros. And they pick on the nerd. What if we had you can have a guy who does that, but then you flesh into him a little bit, and he's actually smart or something, or you can flesh him out into what his interests. He's a secret nerd underneath. There's so many things you can do with these stereotypes, so many things you can do with these cliches and tropes, and that you can mess around with them. You can change them. You can switch them. You can give them a different coding or whatever you want to do. But there's nothing wrong with starting out with them as a foundation or a base.
All right.
A bunch of super chats.
Yeah, 3 more to go.
Before we continue, I'm just going to say I'm going to pop off because it's quite late. So I wish you all the best. Good luck, everyone. And I will speak to you all later.
Well, thanks for coming on, Voice.
Oh, and I've started working on part 2 of the Rise of Skywalker video. It's going to take me 1,000,000 hours, but I'll get through it. Start of next year, probably, maybe. Don't hold me to that.
Okay.
Take care.
Good night. All right. 3 more super chats. We'll keep on going with Lindsay Ellis. Joe Crazy. The next Kurosawa film will be The Seven Mormons. Oh, dear. Well, maybe by one of his grandchildren, cool. I guess. I don't know who would make that.
Written by Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah. The Adventures of the Mormon Cult. Yeah, I don't know. John Lemley. Codeine is a sub-reference to an illicit pharmaceutical substance mixed with Sprite, grown to be prevalent in the South United States in the 1990s. Really? That's a interesting bit of slang there. Never heard that one before. I do know there's a variety of street drugs that are combined with household items like pop, but that's very specific, and I didn't know about that. Cool. Joe Crazy. Slowpoke Rodriguez is my spirit animal, as opposed to...
Slowpoke Rodriguez is awesome. I like Slowpoke Rodriguez.
This is an actual character? Really? I have no idea.
Oh, yeah. He's Speedy Gonzalez's cousin. He's like the opposite, so he's really, really slow.
Really?
And every time Slowpoke Rodriguez comes in, the whole episode is about Speedy Gonzalez saving Slowpoke Rodriguez from the cat because he's really slow. And he's an easy catch.
Oh, very cool. Man, it's been a while since I've seen those shows as a kid, but yeah, they exist. They're real. All right, 4 more minutes, folks. We can do it. It's not even 8:30. We're good.
I just wanted my cannons.
And then you remember, this is Michael Bay, and nothing matters.
Your car? Huh?
There it is.
The question of do Transformers have gender is purely semiotic. Like all fiction, the answer is a reflection of the audience. Transformers are fictional characters. They
so you're saying you're completely making all this up. Okay.
Aren't real. They do or do not have gender if we say so. But because this is a franchise primarily catering to little boys, the robots are unambiguously coded male. They have robopecs, they have masculine voices, they use male pronouns.
They reflect a certain version of masculinity.
And that is a part of male gaze. Male is...
Wait. Male gaze is looking at robots that have male characteristics and calling them masculine. Really? I call that using your eyes and saying that looks like a guy because he looks like a guy. Very basic stuff here.
I love how ascientific this is.
This is like bone brain dumb. Like, what are you talking about, Lindsay? What are you trying to infuse here?
I would say that Whit and Foley is way better at this stuff.
Well, she's simpler.
Yeah.
She's a lot more obvious, and she doesn't confuse things too much. She'll call Zack Snyder a phobe, a religiphobe of a certain religion. But it's stupid, it's crazy, but she'll focus on just that. She won't make a... I don't know. What is up with all these video creators that have all these part 1, part 2, part 3, as if they've discovered new information they have to categorize into sections? It doesn't make sense half the time.
I'm really hoping that she was joking about this being like a 27-part video. I'm really hoping that was a joke.
Oh no, Dunn listed them all. There's 9.
There's 9. Yeah, there's 9 already.
There's 9?
Marxism. Yep.
Oh.
We're jumping at part 5.
This is how this goes. Like they can make up any bullshit and talk about it.
Wait a minute, hold on. Her video is called Feminist Theory Part 1, Episode 5. So she has parts that are going to have episodes to them. So this part 1 is going to have 5 episodes or whatever. So it's just not even just episodes or parts. It's just she's going to have different parts that are going to have various episodes each. It's going to be really in depth, I guess.
So okay. So how it works is this is episode 5 of the whole plate, and this is part 1 of 3 of her feminism talks regarding the Transformers movie.
This has almost 1 million views from 3 years ago. I can't imagine ever wanting to sit down to any of her videos seriously and listening. Anyway,
Decent editing.
She's not bad. No, she knows what she's doing. It's just the content is just. I can't believe people listen to this crap.
Yeah. It's coded default. Any variation from that is an aberration. And this is not a modern idea. The very foundations of Western civilization have this undercurrent on the idea of gender. Eve is an aberrant deviation of Adam. Pandora is a corrupt aberration variation of man. Manly Optimus Prime is fine, but hot pink RC is an aberration.
Wait, you're just comparing all these mythologies to Transformers?
Why?
Why? Why are you so stupid?
Eve is an aberration of Adam? What? Did you read Genesis? It's a very simple thing. God created Adam, then he created Eve. Voila.
Out of Adam's rib bone, yeah. But I think that's just so weird.
Requiring an explanation, and we better not go there. RC did show up in Revenge of the Fallen, sort of. She seems to be a combiner of some sort, a gestalt of 3 motorcycles that combines into one ladybot. She basically has no lines and then dies.
Yeah.
Like Jazz in the first.
Okay, so she's in the film, but she dies.
Yeah.
What did you want her to do?
What did you want?
Yeah, like give a speech about independence and sticking it to the man, or like what did you want her to do?
Or, like what is it? Like frickin' L3337 Femputer /49000 from Solo.
So she's in the
this
film.
This isn't criticism. This is just like, hey, this thing happened, and it's implied bad.
One more thing on this video. How is it that Lindsay Ellis has like millions of subscribers or whatever, but she has, like, again, to me, inferior video quality and production than someone like Wit and Folly again. So Wit and Folly not only outdoes her in ways of analysis, but video production as well, it seems.
Well, I would say Wit and Folly is very creative, like combining things like makeup tutorials or whatever she was trying to do there, scaring the audience.
Wasn't that Maggie May Fish? Wasn't that Maggie May Fish?
Yeah,
it was Maggie May Fish thing.
Yeah, and
I think it probably was.
Yeah, she was really weird talking about crazy things and painting her face. It was like, oh, this is special. What's going on here?
Right now, Wit and Folly is seeming like the prequel trilogy, and because with Lindsay Ellis is kind of like the sequel trilogy.
Well, okay, I think we should give more credit to Wit and Folly. She's focusing on one thing, just regurgitating it over and over again, whereas Lindsay Ellis is like, how can I throw feminism into this? And then she just plasters it over one series. Feminist Theory Part 1, Episode 5. Which is, I don't know.
Pretty much.
That's a work of genius. You got to be really crazy to do that.
First movie, blink and you'll miss it. Then there's Alice, which...
Okay, so here's an actual Transformer who is female, who literally looks like a female. And now she's going to dislike this because she's evil or something, or, you know.
There are Terminators in the Transformers universe now?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently in Transformers 2 there's the she Transformer.
Yeah, I actually saw this on TV years ago. Not the whole movie, just this whole sort of first 10, 20 minutes of the movie or whatever it was. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Having a seductive Transformer that's looking for something, which is basically a Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I think Michael Bay has issues with women. And in the fifth...
No, he's making dumb action flicks with robots. I hate when people do this. I think that this director, like, let's say, pick any horror film director, they got problems with men. They have this homoerotic problem. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
If a male director or male writer does not write a woman with all the skills and all the perfection in the world, and he obviously has a problem with women. That's how it always goes. If she makes a mistake, there's a bad guy who happens to be female. There is she's wrong somehow. She dies. It's always because the writer has a problem with women. That's where it always goes to.
We say similar things about, like, Rian Johnson. He has a problem with understanding scripts or plot structure or elements of a screenplay. These people go to, like, oh, they just don't understand women, or they don't understand children, or this or that. It's like, can you connect the dots, please?
Yeah.
It's a horror action flick.
Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying the nature of Transformers is so basic. If you don't get it, you're making shit up.
Have you noticed that she is upset about Michaela or what have you, but not upset like she's upset that you have a sexy, actual female, attractive actress that does something in the plot, but she wants there to be a Transformer that is not like
a villain,
that's female coded or whatever, as opposed to being an actual female in the story who's not sexually attractive, because that fits into her worldview more, and that's supposed to be an academic perception as opposed to some sort of complex that she has that's been institutionalized.
I don't know. She's dismissed these ideas. Like, she's talked about Megan Fox for about 10 seconds. Then she talked about the Transformer, the female coded Transformer that dies 10 seconds. Then she talked about this other female Transformer who looks like an actual woman for about 10 seconds. Like, she's just dismissing it.
Like, Lindsay Ellis, contrary to popular belief, okay, not every man is a secret serial killer waiting to happen. Now, maybe Michael Bay is. I don't know the guy, but he's from Hollywood, so he might be. But usually, run-of-the-mill men are not usually these secret, disturbed, psychotically insane serial killers just waiting to come out. So it's not always. The answer is not always. He just has a problem with women.
The answer is selling toys.
He is. I very well, and he's kind of a dick on set. That's the worst I'll say about Michael Bay.
Yeah, I don't like Michael Bay at all, but I'm not going to mischaracterize his film or assume all this stuff.
Yeah, what you would do with the lens,
enumeration.
What you do with the feminist lens is you look at the actual females in the show or the female roles or whatever, and you focus on them. She didn't focus on them. She was rambling on about philosophy for about 7 or 8 minutes. Then we finally get to the female characters in the story, and she's like, no, 10 seconds. No, here's another one. No. Like, what? What's wrong with... No, talk about them. What's wrong?
Nobody hates strong, independent women that don't need help more than feminists.
Movie, there's Quintessa, who's not a Transformer, but is called the Deceiver. Which, okay. But RC is the closest we got...
What? No. That was a character.
Okay.
Tell us about her.
Okay, it's called... it's a trope, okay? It's an archetype, in fact. The Temptress. It's age-old archetype that we have in our collective unconscious. That's why the Tempter is usually like a woman, because usually the hero is a male. But if we switch the genders, the Tempter will be a male if the main character is female, usually. And you run of the mill story. It's a thing that happens. Okay, it's an essential part of the hero's journey. I don't know how well, or how close, or if at all, this goes. Transformers movies adhere to the hero's journey at all, but it's an essential archetype for you to have a temptress. It's like kind of like the mentor. It's something that kind of goes into almost any story.
So
almost,
she's dismissed 4 female characters, 3 of which were robotic or whatever you want to call Transformers. Completely, she just didn't even talk about them. Especially the last one, which seems to be a villain. Lindsay, you're not doing this right. I mean, you could have picked any lens. You could have talked about economics. You could have talked about sexuality. Pick a lens. And when you actually find like sex, here's a sex scene, here's a sexual encounter. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. Not important.
Yeah, I actually just said it and pointed it out and then moved on. And then kind of framed it like, yeah, because of course a man wrote it, so of course he has a female being an evil temptress. It's kind of like that setup. Like I'm going to explain why they might have done this in this manner. It's going to point it out and then leave it there so that my audience can guess, roll their eyes and say, a man wrote this. Of course a man would write a woman that way.
To an actual transformer in the movies, and this in an era when there are actually a lot more ladyformers across all areas of Transformersdom. It's not just tokenism anymore. Often there are multiple female Transformers in the same series, but not in the movies. Boom! You
listed 3. Why can't you talk about... this is so stupid. It's like me making a video about this character in this video game and not even talking about them and talking about all the other characters. Because they're not that character or for some stupid reason. What kind of analysis is this? The problem of lady robots in your video, Lindsay, is you don't talk about them.
#JustRC. #feminism. Feminine coding in these movies means you're either utterly impotent, like RC, a horrifying abomination, like Alice, or a duplicitous controller of minds, like Quintessa. And
what's wrong with that?
Oh, yeah. What's wrong with that?
That was their role. That was the function they have in the film. This is fine. You could do this with males. You could do this with females. You could do it with children. You could do it with old men. Who cares? What's your point?
It doesn't matter.
Is it good? Is it bad? Why? Tell us, please. Something.
Just tell us the form of things, the structure, the actual substance.
we ain't even got to the human women's yet.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
What's taking you so long? Please, something. 10 minutes in, nothing. There's just some robots and they're kind of famous, but they're not consistent. They're okay. Other shows do it better. All right. It's not an argument. I want some information.
Come on. Say something funny or smart.
Females working on my engine.
One attitude I see a lot, especially when we talk about big budget action movies and Michael Bay, is an idea that it's odd to question what we are given in our media rather than ask what brought us here in the first place.
What?
The fact that
Does that make any sense at all?
Nope.
I don't. Why did you go see the film? Let me question why I came here in the first place. Okay.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, I get critiquing something. I don't understand why one of those things is favored over the other. She's making all these statements, and she's doing it with the news voice, kind of. But, there's nothing behind them. Except, hey, Marxist theory, and according to Lacan and Foucault's pendulum, there's just no substance here.
There's no analysis. I'm like, this is nothing. This is atrocious. This is a waste of time. It's just sad that people are watching this and going, oh yes, I agree with her completely about nothing.
She makes between $10,000 and $69,000 a month just off of Patreon. That's not even YouTube.
Yeah. To say nonsense. In her Meg voice. I don't know if you guys know, Meg is the character from Supernatural. She has that Meg. Yeah.
Or
I thought you meant Family Guy.
That's one way of putting it. Okay.
Yeah.
Alex Halo.
Right. Let's keep.
Why you want male or female characters when you can have the genderless shape-shifting slime boy Rimuru from the slime isekai? The cool thing about that story is the slime has the memories of a male from his previous life, but the shape of a female. But yeah, it's essentially genderless because it's a slime.
So Edax says, well, capitalism says she's doing better than the Smudcast. And you know what, Edax? That's correct. But you know what else capitalism says? Transformers is great.
Yeah.
Making all the money. We're making money off of the ad sales. We're making money off of selling products. We're making money off of merchandising. We're making money off of these stupid movies that are just big explosions and whatever. So if we're talking about art criticism, then we're talking about ideas and culture and society and all this horse shit that we all are party to. And then if we're just going to be commercial art critics, then we got to put on our Oakley glasses and be like, hell yeah, brother. My stock portfolio went up. That was awesome. Let's make James Bond 83 now.
Male robots, clear-coded as male, would be accepted by the audience without question, but a female robot is regarded as aberrant and begs an explanation. Makes you wonder, why would the filmmakers think that? And more importantly, is that true? Critical Studies is not here to shame you for what you like, much as it apparently feels that way to some people.
It isn't.
Critical Studies of what?
That's the only thing I know about it, that it shames you for what you like. It turns, it not only shames you for what you like, it turns whatever you like into something you should be ashamed of. That's what I've seen from every single one of these. I've seen no evidence to contradict that.
As well as turning what you love into garbage.
What was all that complaining about Megan Fox's body?
She hasn't even gotten to it yet. I'm not even going to get started with her body. It's like, why not? Tell us why. What's wrong with her?
Part 3. That's in part 3.
Oh, she complains about a hot woman on TV or movies.
She doesn't.
Person complains on the internet about attractive women being on TV and presented an appealing way for men. Video number 10,000,045. Fantastic.
I love that. I love that the number one way to make these kinds of commentators feel bad is to just have a really sexy girl do something because she wants to, and be like, yeah, I like being pretty. I like wearing this, and then it just makes them feel so bad inside because somebody's having fun that they can't do. There's something that's gatekeeping them out of their happiness. And it appeals to men, and it maybe gives them some power or satisfaction or something. So it just goes against everything feminist. Being like I said, being a strong, independent, happy, with healthy relationships, physically
secure.
fit and intelligent and secure woman that can actually think for herself is something feminists hate, because then you're not in their little crab bucket.
And also, how come it's kind of like a one rule for thee, another for me sort of situation here. So they can go in and say that you're a bad person, or this is all sexist and actually racist or whatever, because of it's X coded or whatever it is, and they can apply their is theories and stuff to all the stuff that we like. But when I say that Raise and Mary Sue, suddenly that's a step too far. Suddenly everyone starts losing their minds.
Yeah, everybody starts losing their minds
because it was all going to plan until LiteratureDevil struck.
Yeah. I said, hey, here's why Raise and Mary Sue. What? A Mary Sue? I'm over here trying to destroy everything you love because it's necessary. And now you can't just criticize something I like. That doesn't make any sense. You can't criticize something I like. It's not fair. I'm the only one allowed to criticize, okay? I'm the only one allowed to destroy things you love.
Give us the tools to question the media we consume.
No. It doesn't give you tools to question things. It gives you bizarre ideas on what to do with a lens improperly. I've never seen a good critique of film, let's say, using a certain feminist lens, unless we're talking about a film specific about women. The Scarlet Letter or something like that. That would be a great use of the tool. It's like
Scarlet Letter's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like hammering in a nail with a screwdriver. It's like, it just, what are you doing?
Did the Scarlet Letter predict cancel culture? Who knows? That's a good question.
Probably.
These people never criticize some people do, but I'm pretty sure that Lindsay Ellis has never gone out and been like, the black community has a lot of real in hip hop music, a lot of misogyny that needs to be addressed, because then they'd get hit from all directions. Mm-hmm. Then it becomes like an issue that they can't stand up for in the progressive stack or the intersectional aspect.
There's also weird stuff like they think that the old classics are inferior to the new woke stuff. Like I remember a School of Movies made the remark that that Casablanca is not as good as Crazy.
Sorry,
Rich
what?
Asians.
It's not as good as what?
Casablanca is inferior. He made this statement that Crazy Rich Asians is better than Casablanca.
Wait. Who is this?
Alex Shaw of School of Movies fame.
Oh, that idiot. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, they're weird.
Casablanca
He's
is
a
like
strange man.
one of the best, like the top 10 films you've ever seen in your life. It's that good. There are so many beautiful things
I'm
about
shocked.
that film. It is
shocked to find that there's gambling going on here. You're winning, sir.
The camera angles, the lighting, the pace, everything about that film is just, it's a work of art. Throw in Peter Lorre while you're
Yep.
They're classics for a reason, guys. There's things you watch a film, you're like, I didn't really understand Gone with the Wind. That was kind of long, but I like this or that. Yeah, okay, understood. If you watch the whole thing and pay attention, it's a fantastic film.
Culture that questions like why do we need to gender code a race of robot aliens in order to humanize and relate with them?
It's fun. It's cool. It's easy to grasp. We get it. They're robots. They're dudes. They shoot things. They go boom.
We can tend to empathize with things that we can understand, because that's kind of part of empathy. That we can understand them and know we can kind of even remotely sort of guess we'll guess what they're going through, what they're feeling, and what their motivations might be. That's why they kind of mirror us in some way. Usually, now you can have other things like dogs or pets or cubes or something. It'll work in different ways. But if you want to, I think what Michael Bay was going for was, hey, they're in a war. They're kind of like us, so they kind of have the same goals that we do.
It's kind of like when you have the aliens on Star Trek. They had to give them a face. They had to give them eyes. They had to give them human characteristics, or we wouldn't care about them. We wouldn't be able to identify with them. This is very, very basic stuff. This has nothing to do with males and females.
I mean, you can essentially, I guess, in theory, I'm pretty sure it's been done before, where you can write a story where you empathize with like a brick or something, but it takes a little bit more effort. And Michael Bay was not trying to put in that effort. He was trying to make things explode.
This whole video is basically a non sequitur, lengthy argument for saying more lady Transformers in this. Why no more lady Transformers?
Never go into wonder what it even mean to a race of robot aliens in the first place. And we ain't even get into Megan Fox yet.
Oh no, Megan Fox. What a horrible addition to the movie. Why is she there? Gee, let me think. Is it her acting skills? Probably not.
Who cares? Like, it's gone, done. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, so to kind of provide context, she actually is saying that, like, Michaela, like, technically, from a technical level, is the best written character in the film. It's just there's a weird juxtaposition with how she is written versus how she is framed. And people tend to remember more the fact she is sexualized more than her actual dialogue or character writing.
I don't understand why people have a problem with this idea that Michael Bay has in the aesthetic aspect. Like, yeah, of course I want a sexy chick. What are you, stupid? Like, I don't understand why that's not a valid statement. You know what I mean?
You're an asshole, Michael Bay. You just want to look at cute girls.
Yeah.
You get to look at women, though.
Get to look at women, baby.
Yeah, but according to Marx, I don't care about Marx. Yeah, but according to intersectional, I don't care about feminism. Yeah, but shut up. I'm gonna make my movie, remember? And that's why she has a auteur theory versus Michael Bay. She has to invalidate auteur theory so that Michael Bay doesn't have the ability to make sexy women in Transformers movies for boys. Because I don't know, she's got a complex about Transformers, I guess. Maybe her ex-boyfriend really loved Transformers, and she was just pissed that she couldn't connect to it because there was no female characters that mattered to her.
Actually, she actually likes the first Transformers movie as a guilty pleasure.
Why is it guilty? That has Orson Welles in it.
And Weird Al Yankovic music.
Yeah, she's been a fan apparently since since she was a kid. She's just using her weird lenses to look at the Michael Bay movies because
education.
It's hard to do them otherwise.
She went to university. She had to get a degree in something.
I guess.
Yeah.
Let's go on YouTube. That's it?
I just saw Bob.
Just
patrons.
Yeah, I just saw Bob. Yeah.
What was that? Bob Chipman.
There he is.
There he is.
Oh.
In the arms of SJWs, choked to death.
I wonder if Lindsay Ellis is aware that she has a guy who approves of the invasion of Poland as one of her patrons,
as well as eugenics.
Yeah, and eugenics, and wants a literal nerd master race.
Because he is an idiot.
Alrighty then.
Well, gentlemen,
that was
that was something. That was a big pile of not much.
Nothing.
All I know is that Megan Fox has an awesome body.
I actually don't find her that attractive personally.
Neither do I, but now that she's pointed it out, I kind of
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of a trend, right? It's like if you want the best way to get something to sell or to highlight something as a positive is to get an SJW ismist to just hate it, and suddenly it becomes great again.
Yeah,
it's pretty true.
I think we're all pretty much exhausted at this point.
Yeah, we've been going for almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think the summation of it is that we're all frustrated that somebody that's not really saying anything and is just doing a wink and a nod routine with a bunch of academic terms is given so much credibility.
It's as if she stopped. I'm sure her other videos are better because people have said they like them and they're very well thought out and referenced. They have lots of clips. It's like, that's good. Yeah, she does good work, but there was no substance here. There was nothing. She just pointed out there were 4 or 5 female characters in the film. And she didn't even talk about it. It's like, that should have been the premise. The female characters in whatever version or whatever movie was of Transformers are bad or are not very well done. And you're like, okay, well, Michael Bay film, you'll expect that'd be lots of obvious statements to make, of course. And then she goes into that. She didn't do that. She talked about the idea of feminist theory. She started using terms that brought it about, which is just, to show you how crazy the concept is, which she didn't have to do. She could have just stuck with feminist theory. This is the lens I'm using. This is how I see things. And she didn't do that. She started rambling on about terms that weren't related to the film. And showing
it's kind of like her entire video is kind of like, look at this. Isn't that strange? Huh. All right, look at this next. Isn't that kind of sexist? Now look at this. Isn't that sexist? Okay, moving on.
Yeah. It's kind of like a series of observations that have no value. Can you check to see if Quentin is in the credits since we know Movie Bob is? Okay, I have no idea. Let's find out.
Again, Wit and Folly will run circles around Lindsay Ellis in terms of being able to, video production all the way to citing sources and stuff.
H. Willems is
Willems, really?
I think I saw Patrick H. I saw Patrick H. something.
Hey, there's Patrick H.
Oh no.
Maybe that's not Patrick H. Willems, but
he is very, very sensitive about that H.
Yeah. Because the name Willems is terribly humiliating.
Here's a Taker 610. Lit Dev best laugh. Where did did I make it? Did you make it for what, sir? Did you make it for Lit Dev's appearance? You did. Here he is. Yeah, no, this is just. Have you ever noticed a pattern? Everyone just that we disagree with just all think the same. Their philosophy, what they went to school for.
Yes, I did notice.
Circle
all defending
They're circle
cuties.
jerk hive mind. That's all they are.
Like,
I did notice it was it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. But I did notice, yes.
I can't believe that Lindsay Ellis thinks Patrick's video is better than mine.
Yeah, she loves. Yeah, Just Right likes her.
Van Patten.
Patrick likes her. Bob Shipman likes her.
I can't believe that Van
School of
Patrick
Movies
Willems
likes
thinks
her.
my video is better than hers.
Let's see who else EFAP Nemesis MCs are in this.
So I think we can stop talking. Tomorrow, guys, we're talking to Jesse Gender, who is definitely one of the more sane people that we can have a communication with. And obviously...
Did you send the thing that I proposed?
Well, no, I didn't send her what we're going to talk about.
Interested to watch
but
that.
we've researched what we're going to say. So I'm comfortable just having a conversation with her. And she'd have no problems talking about geeky stuff like that. But I could read her right now. It's no problem. So
I just thought that would be an interesting thing. Like if just think a couple episodes, favorite, least favorite, and whatever the other thing. I don't remember exactly what it was that I said, but like the fantasy. Like if you had your own ship, who would you want on?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to start off with fun. It's just going to be a fun conversation with Jessie. Talk about what she likes, what she dislikes, why, and yeah, that's it. We're not going to throw her a bunch of stuff, unless you guys in chat will have a 10-minute response from chat. You guys
I don't care. I just want to. I just would like to join a stream where we talk about Star Trek. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
That's it. Just to have fun. We're not going to berate her on ideas because she is friendly and nice, and that's what I like. These are people that we can talk to from a different perspective. And that's what we like. We want to learn why things that we dislike are good, outside of I like them, and I'm sure she has lots to say. So. Here's Alex Halo. The NPCs have been trying to attack VTubers. I don't know why. Some are gay, and it keeps blowing up in their face. They're trying to so hard to justify attack. These are just virtual characters. They're not actual people running channels. These are just people with a channel who happen to put a bot on there who looks cool and says cute things. Right? That's all a VTuber is, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So I don't see what's wrong with that. It's kind of silly, but nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, because reason for existing.
Yeah. Anywho, yes, we will be talking to Jessie tomorrow. I don't know how long. At most, probably 2 hours. It's not going to be that long as we usually go on Smudcast. So she doesn't have enough time. And she has stuff to do. I totally get that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be around 5 o'clock tomorrow, unless I'm told otherwise. But hopefully we can have a full house. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the Discord for her. I would be happy to ask them, provided they're, reasonable. I don't want anything offensive. We don't do that on Smudcast. We don't set people up. That would be very impolite. And we're here to have a communication and a fun time, which is what we should be doing anyway. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks, LitDev, for popping up. Thanks, Dunn, for staying so long. I know you're always busy with your own chats. And, you're having a good time there. I really wanted to talk to King Emperor Penguin. I have talked to him before. But we can get him on later. That's totally fine.
I know that he's busy for the next month. I got really lucky in that I got to chat with him on Saturday. But I just got an opening.
Cool.
I can ask him.
I could ask him too. I just want to make sure that everyone's okay with that because he did a video on us, which was fine. I saw nothing wrong with it. He had his own opinion. I wrote my opinions down in the comments, so he wanted that. That's what we did. Everything's cool. So he's a friend of mine. I haven't talked to him in a bit, but everything's great with him. And I think it'd be great to have him on. I like getting criticized, guys. In case you don't know, there are people in this chat who criticize me about our joke about how stupid postmodernism is. But that's fine.
There's a comment on a Sargon video that I just read, and it says, "I feel like I'm a victim of Lindsay Ellis's stupidity." And I think that describes all of us today.
All right. Well, thanks, Glib, for popping in. Are you guys gonna be here tomorrow for Jesse or not?
I'm
gonna try.
Okay.
I plan to be.
I don't know how much use I would be, since I'm not really very knowledgeable about Star Trek. I would probably just be sitting in the background. So if I do listen, it'd probably be in chat.
Okay, that's fine. No worries. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please keep your suggestions coming. I'm always adding to the list of ideas that we vote on almost every other day. And hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for Jesse. Obviously, I'd like you to be nice, but I can't control you. But please be polite. And do have some questions coming in today as well as tomorrow during chat. That'd be great. I think a warm welcome will always be great to people coming in who we disagree with. So thanks again. Have yourself a great evening, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.